Kips Clips.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Clips, clips.
Alrighty, YouTubes, another one of Kips Clips, and welcome to this week's not the Infowars Nightly News, the original, the OG alternative look at the so-called alternative media. Skeptical with the spectacles about the so-called skeptics, and watching the motherfucking Watchmen. Easy for me to remember because somebody's got to do it. So welcome one and all to this week's instalment of not the Infowars Nightly News. So the 2019 UK general election is a second Brexit referendum. I don't know if you've noticed this, but by default, the outcome of that election can actually dictate whether Brexit happens or not. Whatever way you spin it, via the back door, semantics, it's a second referendum on Brexit. If the anti-Brexit mob were able to mobilise their voters and whatnot enough, they would be able to change the outcome of the initial referendum. Which means this referendum, although it's dressed up and it's not so much all fur coat and no knickers, it's all second referendum and no general election. That works. And because of that, I don't know, I don't think I've ever been so politically aware as I am now. And tomorrow I'll be that wee bit more. In 6 months I'll be a bit more still, so on and so forth. But it's eye-opening. It's educational to see the electioneering going on here, and getting a greater understanding of truly what politics is. And Nigel Farage and his positioning through the whole debacle. I mean, I heard him today saying that he's devoted 30 years of his life to this stuff. Has been fairy telling. The introduction to Jim Dawson, one of the men behind the rise of the far right in the UK, combined with the acknowledgement that he's marketing by trade. He's a marketer by trade. He's a salesman by trade. Combine that with the undisputed knowledge of a lot of the splinter groups that he's been involved with, raised funds for, set up, helped to set up, went to meetings for, hung about with, got guns for, got bulletproof vests for, and all that sort of stuff. And then that with the epiphanies that were happening with regards to the crock of shite that turned out to be the truther movement, where you're like the yellow brick road which paved with UFOs and Bigfoot, and it took you down to supporting UKIP and the Brexit Party, and nobody questioned that. How did Bigfoot and UFOs take me to Nigel Farage's doorstep? But anyway, it's my opinion that this is nothing more than a second referendum of the EU referendum, and I think people will treat it as such As usual, politicians are now coming out and they're the best things since sliced bread. For somehow, some way, politicians are pulling money out their arse. And they're going to give you free sliced bread until the next best thing comes along that was as good as sliced bread. I'm sure I seen that in one of their manifestos. The best thing since sliced bread, you'll get free sliced bread until we invent the next thing as good as sliced bread. I would put that in my manifesto. In fact, it means fuck all, but everybody would lap that. What the fuck? He's going to start with the best sliced fucking bread, man. Woo! Woo woo! I'm on board with that. I want some free sliced bread. And then when the next best thing to sliced bread, some would argue croissants, comes out, we'll get fucking free that stuff as well. It's funny how politicians can just pull this shit out their left, right and centre. I heard Boris Johnson's saving some of his family members and setting up an orangutan sanctuary in central London on some rooftops or something. All out his own pocket. They're just, right now, all the politicians electioneering, they're just promising you this. Sprinkle it with that. A wee bit of this and a wee bit of that. Oh, I was actually really impressed. My own bullcrap thumbnail I made up the other day. Very amused me ever so slightly. And it was UK general election. Ron Seal politicians don't do exactly what they say on the tin. I think that was pretty spot on. Anyway, so welcome one and all to this week's Not the Infowars Nightly News. So we'll be talking on the general election and Brexit, one of the same. It's the second referendum, everything that goes in and around that. Now, is the clue of the show this name, Not the Infowars Nightly News? This was predominantly set up to touch on your typical conspiracy narratives of the week. And it's very telling that nowadays, just by doing that, you're touching on all the narratives of the talking points of the general election. Whether they be mainstream media narratives or the online trollfest narratives. We're getting them fed nevertheless from all angles. So, and it's interesting as it is, and as many as the independent journalists that I touch on, you'll typically find them edging you in one way or the other to the ballot box, supporting the red car or the blue car because they're having the race. Anyway, in the evening, one and all, thanks for joining. Make sure you hold on, I can even do this. Look, watch this. Make sure you subscribe, bell up, and all that shit. You can also thumbs up as well, and remember what I do here, it's Digital Basket! It is all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job, you'll find value in what I do, and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. Thank you very much. So I'll show you what's on tonight's show, and then I'll say hi to those in the chat, and then get on with it. So I'll just share a link to a documentary that was produced by the Discovery Channel. That's As Far As I Scratched Beneath the Circus. I say obviously, but maybe it's just my conspiratorial skeptical head. It's got a political flavouring on it, but it doesn't mean that you can't watch it and take something away from it. Pretty sure it might have been Gas Mask that shared it with me. If not, I apologise, and thanks to the person that shared it with me. And I thought I would share the link. I watched the first one and found it interesting. And as you may see in the clue in the air, why we hate. So you can see why I think it's politically charged, because it's wrapped around it's wrapped around hatred in man and how it's used to control us. It touches on theories of why it's there, how it's there, evolutionary, where it's came from, all that jazz, how it affects our behaviour and all that shit. And it's very interesting to look at eggheads talking about this stuff and then relate it to the electioneering that's happening, what you've experienced in your maraudings in the online shite. It is what it is. Right, Russian free speech and the YouTube censorship. Now this is funny. We're going to get Stex Hexenhammer create a conspiracy and then debunk it himself, and and rather than going, oh here, hold on, I was wrong, he goes, I was wrong, but it's YouTube's fault. When again, it's people sometimes deliberately, sometimes just out of ignorance, misconstruing stuff. And it's my belief that that guy's a fully functioning, high functioning Asperger's guy, and he can't admit the error in his ways, so he creates another conspiracy to cover for the debunking of the original conspiracy, and then starts talking on about how he needs to go to Russia for free speech. And no other suggestion of that Russia having better freedom of speech than the West right now enters that guy's head. Or he doesn't project that there's any other way of looking at that at all. But definitely worthwhile touching on, because it goes down the YouTube psychosis with people who, to a lot of people on YouTube, would appear to be uber intelligent, like Rain Man-esque intelligent, and he is Rain Man-esque intelligent. Just lacks a little wee portion of his brain that gives them that roundness that some people may or may not enjoy. Epstein Echo. Now, I've only got one clip from this, which kind of disproves my point, but it was only after like seeing about 40 million people's post from this that was like, right, hold on, that I could have made a wee folder of that and just shown. And it's like, obviously, Epstein committed suicide in jail. We all know. But like, are we going to sit around and pretend that we're all James Bonds and can figure out or even have an inkling of what happened? Right, the likelihood of it being him killing himself in jail, I think even a lot of people would say there's a likelihood of that not happening. And if that is true, the people that done it were able to get him at a fucking high security federal prison. And they were able to do it to an extent where nobody's willing to actually point the finger at who was it? Who the fuck knows? And I don't think we'll ever know. And I think if you ever did know, you best go into hiding. You'd probably get killed. Anyway, now, do bear in mind it's politically charged. I am no way defending this man's crimes, the fucking pedo rings he ran, the undoubted, he was a Mossad asset, if not directly worked for them. Was he directly employed by Mossad, or was he just one of their assets? Anyway, the guy was a murky character. And I think it's a fair stab in the dark that it was some sort of honey trap for the powerful. And many people would want him killed. And like, even people that have been bought by the conspiracy bug will go like, oh no, you're shilling, he's on an island, he's still alive. Ah. Possibilities are endless. Here is a truth. I know I'll never know beyond a reasonable doubt in my world. So why stress over it? Cunts like him, who are Mossad assets that are on paedophile fucking and look, I'm not even defending this as well, right? But when they band around the word paedophile, they're using that in the sense that the girls were like, what? Now, I don't know, I'll be honest, right, I don't go to bed reading the sordid details of this shit. I hear it in passing and go, to the best of my recollection, in passing, I heard these girls were like 16, 17. Right? Which in the States, or some states in America, classifies as minor, which then you can say paedophile and it stands up in the court of law and all that kind of stuff, right? But I don't think anybody's indicating them fucking anything under than, or not even fucking, I think obviously they must have been fucking them. How ignorant am I? But anyway, I digress. the amount of people that fucking want to murder him, endless. But it's politically charged now, isn't it? With the election coming up, Hillary Clinton edging towards another run as she was doing a wee bit in the UK today. And Epstein, I'm trying to remember, Epstein and Clinton were pals at some point, weren't they? So if Epstein continuously gets smeared and his crimes get exposed, and that undeniable link between the Clintons, it's such a good tool in the box when you're electioneering, which Trump possibly will be doing against Clinton in, is it 2020? They're having their one. I'm sure it's going to be the giant douche and turd sandwich again. South Park just be able to do a rerun of that. Nobody be able to tell the difference. Just do a rerun. Everybody think it's brand new material. So there's what's sort of Wong in Hong Kong. It's just interesting to watch. How now, if what's happening in, I'm not a secret commie, just make that clear, but if what was happening in Hong Kong was happening in some other corner of the globe, and let's say George Soros's mob might have been, or somebody linked to George Soros's mob might be behind it, all the conspiracy people, or the independent journalists in the conspiracy world would be banding around and go, George Soros taking over the world, aye, we collaborated with the Nazis in World War II, and talking about all the colour revolutions and the West interfering with other people's politics and all that. For some reason, that Hong Kong's just like, hey man, fighting for freedom. It's the fucking Chiners, fucking get them, fuck the Chiners, you know what I mean? Whether you're a fucking commie China or not, it's technically the commie Chiners fucking bit of land. They should be able to be fucking arsehole commie Chiners in their fucking own back garden. And here, look, listen, I've got sympathy for the people of Hong Kong, but I see it as part of, I see it as more as the geopolitical struggle than you're run-of-your-mill person on the street of Hong Kong. That's if there is a run-of-the-mill person in Hong Kong. There literally isn't like a square metre of fucking land in Hong Kong that isn't fucking 20 million fucking Hong Kongers staying on it in power blocks. There's no spare space in Hong Kong. I don't think there's too many riff-raff either. If that makes any sense. Anyway, I digress. So have a wee look what's wrong in Hong Kong. Cock nose for giggles. Now we're going to do this. Shit. We're going to do this with. I'm going to do this live. Hold on. There we go. Now, I'm going to do this with Rocking Mr. E and see if my. Look at that. Anyway, so we're going to have some fun with Cocknose and Rocking Mr. E. Just because I can. Figured out how and I thought, why not? So, do that. And I mean, he's talking some real deep down rocking philosophy, man. I mean, if you want some deep, cutting edge philosophy, you want to go to a guy wearing a cock nose with a head like an oscillating fan and a member of UKIP and the alt-right on YouTube. That's exactly where you want to go for some beautiful, mind-expanding philosophies. I'm not being ironic there. I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being serious. Cocknose for giggles. Crimes of brown and black men. Again, this was a catalogue that's only got one in it, but I started it late. Might be something moving forward. But it's what you'll find on a lot of the pro-Tommy Robinson, far-right-esque kind of channels, where they'll scour the internet and look for any crime committed by anybody that doesn't look white. And then they'll propagate this left, right, and centre as many places as they can. Sometimes the crimes will be out of context for a variety of ways they spin this shit, and just try and make it look like there's a plague of people, non-white crime, out of context in this country. And you might be interested in who's getting in the game now. Not because they're far right, but just because their game is propagating civil unrest. Anyway, Grenfell, it was disgusting the way that was getting used. Although it was very quickly dropped, I noticed. But anyway, it was disgusting the way they were using Grenfell and what happened there as a political football for cheap political points. Top of the pile, Dowson. Have a wee look at some of Jim Dowson. Maraudings. Again, great place to go for your philosophy. The UK's NPC right wing. Now the general election's kicked in, all the independent journalists are telling you, hop on one leg, do this, be here, do that, and say this. And everybody's doing it, going, we're independent! Well, they're all hopping on one leg, clucking like a chicken in the spot that fucking their master told them to. And you're pointing that out to them. You're just a lefty Antifa. No, I'm not. Illuminati deep state. And then if they can't shun you off with that, they'll butter it down into some sort of a fucking Jew and anti-Jew shit. Or, oh man, 1,000,001 techniques just to fuck up the shit. Then we'll just look at the wee taster of the Tommy Robinson cult, because he's making a comeback apparently, Tommy Robinson. I know, but we're all missing him. What were we missing exactly? But I thought Danny Tomo was doing a grand job in his absence. And let's be honest, Danny Tomo is less stumpy than Tommy. It's hard to, well, Tomward on tour. That, with a pair of haircuts, should definitely have a boy band. And then the murky troll swamp. And Lady Sparkle getting, what do you call it, doxed. And then for some disappearing and shutting up. I don't think she's saying much online anymore. She must be scared for her job or something. It's funny. She might have never put her face to any of those words and shit that she done, but her voice is so distinctive. It's kind of hard to wriggle out of. But we're touching on a few bits and bobs on that. So say hi to people in the chat, then I'll get into this bull crap. So in the evening, one and all. Let me see, no. Don't know if this. So we'll get Maria, Apple Charlotte. We'll get Brill Smith. How you doing, my man? AKA McV the third. Soon to be 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. I'm sure. The Dot, the artist formerly known as Tony. How you doing, my man? Maria, you gotta see her. Bright 77, Sparkle O'Hoor, the artist formerly known as Tony. In the evening, guys and girls. Vadoom, Tom, how you doing, my man? And nice to see you in. The Blazing Stars, the Apple Charlotte, how you doing, guys and girls? Devon's in there as well, how you doing? McVicker, Tempest Harbour, how you doing, guys? Hugh, Brill, Devon, Maria, Bright. Hopefully I've managed to say hi to yous all. And hopefully the chat is going okay. Right, hold on. I'm going to do that, then look over and see what it looks like. I'm trying to figure out if I've got too much or too little light in my life. Anyway, this is just to keep myself happy. To me, it looks like it's glaring too much with all that light on, but and there's not much I can do about it. Right, there we go. No, I think it looks better without the fucking light on. Anyway, there we go. Little test over. So in the evening, one and all, thanks for joining. Now let's get on with the bull crap. So this was a link that was shared on my channel. I think it was Gas Mask. Whether it works in your country or whatnot, I do not know. But I'm happy to try and share it. And if you like kind of documentary style thought pieces, then feel free. And thanks to Gas Mask for sharing that shit as well. Right, this is going to be good. 7:30. And it's our good old friend Pigeon.
Alright everyone, YouTube has a new little ditty of cable basically. It'll be content creation. The people getting kicked off are not extremists, they're not bigots, they're not problematic, they're not violent bad people. They're content creators. Some of these people have honed their skills for decades. They know what they're doing, they're going to create content wherever they go, and they're going to find an audience wherever they go. YouTube is not the only content creation platform in the world. Even if you have a corporate monopoly sort of system, a vertical monopoly in which a half a dozen companies really control most of the internet, they still do compete a little bit. And there are always outside competitors from foreign markets. Look, BitChute's not even hosted in the US. In order to get a free speech tech platform for video, we literally had to look outside of the United States to find other countries that are willing to host content and not fiddle with it constantly. Payment processors like Subscribestar, I think their payment processor is Russian. The
Ding! Because Russia have a dog in the fight of propagating all the shite that your cult is in. And they can't understand why these people are getting switched off of PayPal and all that. PayPal just love not to make money, you know? PayPal quite happy. PayPal and all the banks launder money for any fucking murderer, criminal, money launderer that get put under pressure by governments that they operate in to shut these cunts down, and they can't see why. They think it's because they're fighting the Illuminati. Right? And as intelligent and as whatever this guy manages to present himself as, you try and present that as an option to this guy, and his spectrum of possibilities of the way things possibly might be, it will be so small it just doesn't enter. If you bring it up, you're some sort of a, I don't know, call you a liberal, lefty, Antifa, Hillary Clinton supporter, all the usual insults that are programmed into all these people. Wouldn't be able to figure out that he's been tuned to the moon to parrot all this shit.
Russians like free speech more than the US apparently now. That's very, very...
Yeah. That's what Putin says. We like the free speech more than the Americans we do, yes. What will we do? We'll allow the alt-right to use our payment systems. Why? Because we love the freedom of the speeches. Hey, right, I've got no question to believe this guy is authentic, right? But he's authentically fucking so far on a spectrum of fucking craziness that you can't see wood for the trees.
Very sad to see Silicon Valley firms run by people who are clearly smart and they're surrounded by smart people making such dumb mistakes is almost demoralizing. It doesn't make sense. It's like with the...
Yeah, it doesn't make sense in your pre-programmed mind. It makes perfect sense if you put it into the context of they've set up a wee echo chamber of idiots online that have turned into Russian robots, and I am not a robot. I woke up this morning, turned on Breitbart, and then made 10 clips with their 10 most popular videos. I am not a Russian robot. And they can't understand that there's a clear... I'm going to go into this later on. Somebody was questioning me earlier. Somebody was asking me about how the British Union of Fascists, or whatever it is, I'll go into later, morphed into the BNP, because it's not as just like they shut down and then they opened up the BNP. There's a million and one splinter groups with the guys going elsewhere, setting up competing entities and all that, but they come from the same base. They come from the same political spectrum, and it's fascism, different brands of fascism. It's like Coca-Cola, fucking Pepsi Max and shit. It's the same shit. Fucking slightly different sugar content. Anyway.
The flip over of generations, all of the older tech platforms have decided, we're going to go the way of cable, basically. It'll become like on-demand. Who cares about on-demand anymore? That's dying too now. No, but people want to create content, not just passively absorb it like zombies. By the way, I think that that's a very good thing. The fact that the vast majority of people at this point create some sort of content of value somewhere in...
Right, so he's parroting the Russia love freedom of speech shite. Yes, I seen Putin riding bare-chesty down on a bear. He tamed a bear, he did. He was swinging vodka and he was singing freedom of speech songs. Vladimir Putin. Man, you know your propaganda's good when you get fucking Asperger's, fucking high-functioning Asperger's cunts like this, Yankee Doodle Dandy, pigeon tits cunt, saying that you're the fucking bastion of freedom of speech. Right now, in context, this is about the new doom and gloom terms of service that YouTube's written.
YouTube may terminate your access or your Google account's access to all or part of the service, YouTube services that is, if YouTube reasonably believes that its provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. It's not entirely clear whether this is referring predominantly to monetized accounts, in which case this is an I told you so video, or all accounts, in which case this is a, well, it's basically worse than Adpocalypse could ever be video.
Or there's, you're like a fucking, you're trying to present yourself as some Rain Man that fucking understands everything, and you've completely off the mark. But again, this isn't an option. That option then later turns out to be true, which he admits, but then tags on another conspiracy to cover his fucking lack of ability to understand it from the get-go. And that's when you understand somebody's in the cult. You know, you're presenting them with like, look, you were completely wrong here, and they say, yeah, but I, and tap another conspiracy on the fucking top of it to justify their circular thinking, and boom shakalaka, it's back to blaming the deep state Illuminati because they're trying to bring down Trump.
By the way, I'm going to do a pinned comment to my BitChute and my Daily Motion accounts, because now you can see yet another reason why it's so important that you follow content creators cross-platform. On a given day, I get 5 or 6 people telling me they never got notified of my uploads on YouTube anyway. Half the time, people get unsubscribed from my channel randomly. YouTube swears up and down that this never actually happens, and yet...
Fucking same old fucking shite, just getting parroted. Right, so... don't worry, I will get to the wee bit where... Let's just get to the chorus of fear, doom and gloom.
YouTube may terminate your access if it determines that the provisions of service to you are no longer commercially viable.
Okay.
Now, that guy was a bit more reasonable because he's an ex-lawyer and he doesn't.
Today's video is going to be...
And it's interesting to look at him because what he comes out, his conclusion is it's written, it's ambiguously written. It's ambiguously scribbled down on a bit of paper by some lawyers. It was ambiguously typed up, and as it was ambiguously typed up, like all good legal documents, it means that it can mean anything at any point, at any time, at any argument. Basically determined by how many lawyers you can throw at it, and that's typically just what happens, right? But in conspiracy land, it has to be deep state Illuminati coming after you, and like, I've been affected with this shit. I've witnessed it firsthand. I understand what's happening. They're deliberately taking away the monetary gain for a lot to be a Russian robot online. Stex, Hexen, fucking Hammer, Pigeon Tits cannot enter his head that he's an NPC Russian robot. Can't fathom it. No, he just woke up one day and fucking loved Trump. With his pigeon tits and his rock and roll shit. Or whatever the fuck, I don't know. And this guy, when he grew up as a Irish atheist, got to love all these Irish people who are obsessed with Brexit and Trump. Fuck off to Ireland, Ginger! Anyway, I digress.
Discussion of the escalation of censorship across social media and on payment processors, because unfortunately there's been a lot of it recently. We'll start off with Facebook.
It's mental, and these independent journalists, him sitting in fucking potato picking land, and Steve Hexenhammer, who's a Yankee Doodle dandy, who I now believe is sitting over in the Netherlands, even though he's an American nationalist. Cuckoo! Fuck off back to the Yanks, you fucking Yank. Doesn't make sense, but it should have. All singing from the same hymn sheet, but they're both independent journalists, and just within a couple of days each other, they both decided to spend their time and effort, maybe 20 minutes maximum, reading Breitbart, seeing the YouTube new terms and services, seeing the attached doom and parroting it on YouTube, and they've got no self-awareness to see that they're an echo chamber. I'd love to know where this, I could have even done it, the genesis of this story, and where him and Steve Hexenhammer found the new YouTube terms and services attached with all the doom, and then just started the echo chamber.
Facebook. Tim Pool has been temporarily suspended from that platform for reporting on the CIA whistleblower. Sadly, Facebook suspensions for controversial content aren't uncommon these days. People also get suspended on Twitter for various reasons. You're given a kind of time out. You can't post for several hours.
Yeah, these platforms are trying to stop and prevent people using them for political purposes. And Tim Pool, who is a far-right journalist who pretends to be a liberal, he can't even admit to his own baldedness. This cunt can't even put his own ginger fucking haircut on the fucking camera.
It's insane. What is there to be learned from this? Especially...
What is there to be learned from this? All these open public social media platforms were hijacked by fucking douchebags for political purposes. And they're trying to stop that from happening. And these uber intelligent people that can read the world and have got the finger on the pulse of geopolitics and the deep state and the Illuminati and politics and nationalism and ethno-nationalism and every debate under the fucking sun. Every debate on Infowars. I can't entertain, discuss, speak about, even entertain the possibility for 2 seconds. And none of their shit. Anybody that ever presents this to them in a comment, fair, reasonably, just go like, here, look, do you think you could be a Russian robot? You'll just get met with a barrage of fucking pre-fabricated, pre-packaged insults, lefty, Antifa, deep state, sheep. And they won't be able to, engage you on a level of going, right, see what the TV does. Do you think the internet does the same? No! The internet tells us the truth! Anyway. So there's Ginger parroting that shit as well. Who else is parroting this?
Today's video is going to be a discussion of the escalation of censorship across social media
and back to pigeon tits.
Alright everyone, we start off today actually talking about YouTube, which is funny because I'm going to read a couple of tweets here and you're not going to believe it, and I guess the wider...
You're not going to believe it, that mad crazy conspiracy that I was parroting just a day ago turns out to be a load of shit, you know. It was just me sort of reading between the lines and not being able to read, you see. But I sit here with a leather jacket and pigeon tits and present myself as an authority, so everybody should listen to me, you know.
The world doesn't know this, thus the problem. So I'm just going to read through this and then I'm going to analyze this. Pat Condell the other day, he was looking at the new YouTube TOS, you know, the ones that kick in on December 10th and say if your
Pat Condell
channel is not commercially viable, TOS, you know, the one through this, and then I'm going to analyze this. Pat Condell the other day, he was looking at the new YouTube TOS, you know, the ones that kick in on December 10th and say if your channel is not commercially viable, basically screw off. That's pretty much literally what it says. He said, my channel certainly isn't commercially viable as I don't have ads on my videos and never have. By the way, good to him. He may predate me in that sentiment. So I reckon my days on YouTube are numbered just as well. I'm sick of YouTube anyway, looking forward to Google free life. And this is in response, and he's got it literally right here. YouTube may terminate your access or your Google's account's access to all or part of the service if YouTube believes in its sole discretion that provision of the service to you is no longer commercially viable. Now, we're going to read YouTube's response, and then we're going to ask ourselves about ambiguity here a little bit. To clarify, I tweeted this out, and YouTube was responding to both of us. I guess it decided between the two of us we have enough subscribers to be worthy of their notice or something. To clarify, and the cat's singing at the moment, so sorry about that. This section is not about terminating an account because it's not making money or doesn't have ads. It's about discontinuing certain YouTube features or parts of the service, for example, removing outdated, low usage features. This does not impact creators or viewers in new ways. Now the good news is, according to Team YouTube, new TOS isn't a problem. The bad news is that because of the ambiguity of how it was written, literally not one single person that I know of at least, in any sphere that I'm part of, aware of in any way, not a single person construed it that way. YouTube has...
That's because you don't hang around with me, Steve Hexenhammer. Or any other reasonably minded person. It's because you're in an echo chamber of alt-right shite, fucking pro-Trump pish, and people blowing smoke up your fucking ass. And that isn't a good combination for... And this guy thinks he's a fucking intellectual as well. Anyway, I digress. So, there's the conspiracy theory isn't real, but everybody thought it was, so there.
An image problem.
Yeah, it wasn't me being stupid and jumping to conclusions and shit like that. No, it was because of Google's image problem.
Maybe they want to address...
See, if, like myself, if you understand the process that Google's doing with YouTube right now and getting NPC robots, at least trying to make their fucking earning potential minimum or kick them off completely, anybody that's on there with clear, just blatant political agendas, they want them kicked off. They might not come out and say that, but the way they're going about this is what it appears to be to me. And these people can't realise that because they need to drop the charade that they're independent journalists. You know, they can't drop the shit. This guy would call himself some sort of an independent analyst or some shit, right? He can't see the irony of going and looking at all his work, i.e. all the videos he makes on YouTube after reading Breitbart every morning, and understand that he's parroting right-wing talking points, narratives, viewpoints, enemies, heroes. You point this out to him, he'll still say he's an independent journalist. Do you not think you could have been influenced to just like sort of look? Here's Trump's talking point. Here's what Alex Jones was talking about the other day. No. I was independently looking at independent media online. When you say independent media, what do you mean? Oh, it's lost on them. It's really lost on them, and that's when you know people are in the cult. You present them with this shit, and your deep state Illuminati, or they need to make up some other conspiracy, rather than even like maybe consider this for 1 wee second. But there's a conspiracy about YouTube censoring. It wasn't a conspiracy. YouTube wasn't censoring us. Russia's got freedom of speech. We need to go to Russia for our play platforms, but that's because they like freedom of speech more than us, honest. And yeah, it wasn't a conspiracy, but it still is.
Janet, can I have a baby elephant made of pure light that tells you true secrets about the universe?
Epstein didn't kill himself.
I thought that was so poorly done, it was good. And you know who that was? Syrian girl. I'm just annoyed she didn't put her face on it. I'd definitely get more hits if she put her face. Preferably a whole body shot. A lovely wee dress. High heels. Anyway. That's enough about Epstein, huh? What's wrong in Hong Kong?
Chinese leaders announced new solutions to fix the crisis in Hong Kong. There's just one problem. They've already tried them before. And guess how that turned out. Welcome back to China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Another weekend of pro-democracy protests in Hong Kong left dozens of people injured and one man in critical condition. In one shock.
Right, now, again, like, I need to repeat, like, don't fall for the polarising politics, the good guy, the bad guy. You just try and analyse this shit, right? I've told you, the independent Republic of Estonia, I'm out. None of this stuff affects me, and as such, I can sit and watch this and just try and analyse it. Now, I'm trying to form what I'm struggling to find the words to convey is a good comparison would be to analyse what's happening here in Hong Kong. Wait, not analyse. Compare what's happening in Hong Kong with what happened at, let's say, Occupy Wall Street, right? And how, through different forms of media and different mediums of media, the crowd control, the riot police, the whatever police brutality, how it's framed and from what parties, and it kind of tells you how these things are used. Doesn't tell you. It shows how those things can get used. How they can get used. Easy for me to say as a political football. I should write a script.
Shocking incident. A man shouting pro-Beijing slogans slashed 4 people with a knife. And then he bit off part of the ear of a pro-democracy politician. Somebody's been picking up tips from watching old Mike Tyson fights. It's gotten so bad, journalists even wore hard hats to a police press conference in protest of police violence. Stop police lies. Get it? The police did. But the only thing they stopped was the press conference. Anyway, the Hong Kong crisis is clearly in need of a solution. Fortunately, someone's finally going to step in and solve everything. These guys. I'm sure it's going to be the perfect solution. Last week was the 4th plenum. It sounds like some weird astrological thing, but it's actually the annual super secret meeting of the Chinese Communist Party's Central Committee. So super secret, we know
During about it tonight.
Meeting, top leaders put their noggins together and came up with 3 brilliant proposals for Hong Kong. The first of the 3 proposals is that Beijing will support Hong Kong's efforts to, quote unquote, strengthen law enforcement capabilities. That's not exactly a new idea. It's actually a lot like the anti-subversion law they proposed back in 2003. It was called Article 23. Article 23 was designed to prohibit any act of treason, secession, sedition, and subversion.
Now, you've got the details on your screen if you want to update a wee bit more about what's going on. What's along in Hong Kong?
Hong Kongers celebrate V for Vendetta Day as violence takes a turn for the worse. And Carrie Lam is here to stay.
So let me get this right. The Hong Kong protesters have appropriated Pepe the Frog, and now they're appropriating Anonymous. Interesting that.
This is China Uncensored. I'm Chris Chappell. Before I begin, I just need to remind you that YouTube is demonetizing nearly all of our Hong Kong episodes. We've only been able to keep making them because of an amazing outpouring of support from fans who contribute to the crowdfunding website Patreon. So a big thanks to them, and if you can, please consider.
Now again, these are independent journalists that just one day, when we speak American, we come from America, let's make a channel that's called China Uncensored and focus on putting out content that makes the Chiners look bad. I'm not saying the Chiners are good. I'm just questioning the motives of this channel.
Supporting the show. So hey, did you remember the 5th of November? Hong Kongers did. It's Guy Fawkes Day, or let's be real, more commonly known as V for Vendetta Day. Hundreds of protesters took to the streets in Hong Kong wearing Guy Fawkes masks from the movie. The Hong Kong government outlawed masks a few weeks ago, and as you can see, that's working really well. But that's not all. Remember your college graduation, parading through campus with your friends, wearing Guy Fawkes masks to protect your identity while protesting your authoritarian government. Ah, youth. The protests in Hong Kong have now entered their 22nd week, and this week, things got bad.
What started as a peaceful protest quickly turned chaotic when riot police stormed the place, and a man with a knife went on a stabbing spree outside. District Councillor Andrew Chiu tried to intervene, and the attacker turned on him. The man was finally subdued and beaten by protesters.
Wow, props to Andrew Chiu. But the attacker turned on him doesn't quite do justice. The attacker bit his ear off. Then a few days later, a pro-Beijing lawmaker was approached by a man bearing flowers, who then stabbed him. Don't worry, folks, he's gonna be okay. It's really almost a miracle that no one has been killed yet in direct relation to these protests, or else things might really fly off the rail. Oh. Police were using tear.
So there's a wee update of what's wrong in Hong Kong. Now, I just find it very interesting what's happening in Hong Kong as a microcosm of what's happening on a larger scale geopolitically with the struggle between the Anglo-American alliance and the rise of China. And this is kind of part of it. I mean, I'm not saying this to try and promote or back up commies or communism in Hong Kong. I think I'm not naive. Maybe I'm naive to think it's just good guys versus bad guys. It's freedom versus communism in Hong Kong. I see it as part of the larger geopolitical struggle which is happening with China right now, due to the projection of their economy being the largest in 2050, with India being the second. And the economies that are threatened with the stats or projections, predominantly America and the UK, are doing everything they can to stop those projections projectionizing. That means projections coming true. And if that's not a real word, then I just invented it. So it's reals. For reals now. So that is what's wrong in Hong Kong. Right. I just wanted to do this for
Welcome to Rocking Philosophy Unscripted. Please.
Childhood absolute giggery tonight. Look at that. Is that not just comedy fucking genius? I mean, it is like Dallas Gold Bug. It is like Dallas Gold Tits. I told you the guy has got a fake nose, eyebrows, tash and glasses. It just now there's just undeniable. There's the forensic match. That is 100% Dallas Gold bugged out your tits. Crime Watch UK forensic expert 100% match. I don't know much Groucho Marx. But, I mean, it's... I told you it was a Rain Man, and now I've got the technology. My Scotty was in the fucking the engine room the other day, and he upgraded the flux capacitor from a Mega Drive to a Genesis. And now I can do this shit. Now the forensics are here. Now watch this.
Please like, share, subscribe, click on the bell for all notifications, because you'll really be helping my channel's reach during a very difficult period. And of course, I'm specifically talking about YouTube here, which just seems to be increasingly throttling content like my own. Now, the topic for this video is whether the upcoming UK general election in December 2019 will be pointless. And the reason why I think it might be pointless is because I think we could be getting set up for the same trap under Theresa May. Now, what was the trap under Theresa May? Well, she got us to vote in a general election in 2017, which was like the second election in 2 years. This one in 2019 now will be like the third in 4 years. And the first thing she did is she alienated core voters with her kind of centrist Tory direction, which was, it just didn't appeal to anyone who's right wing, really. But she alienated her older core voters by saying that people who wanted social care would have to sell their homes. That was a policy that she actually put forward. And as many people know, a lot of Tory voters are older people. Then she wanted to reintroduce fox hunting, which alienated people that might be left-leaning. And a lot of this was Damien Green's influence, who was the MP for Ashford. But Damien Green is not somebody who's particularly well known, but he has a major influence in the Tory party, and he was kind of the one who drove the direction of the kind of left-leaning red Tories and wets within the Conservative Party that have kind of co-opted the party for many years. What this all led to was a minority Tory government. And as a result, Theresa May had, I think she wanted to make the Tory government weak so she could say, I've done all I can, and hold her hands up and say, this is the best I can do. And in fact, she went over and above what the EU wanted.
Hold on a sec, mate. What you said, Theresa May wanted to make the Tory government weak. Why?
I think she wanted to make the Tory government weak.
Right, okay, I get that idea, right? Why would she want to make the Tory government weak?
So she could say, I've done all I can, and hold her hands up and say, this is the best I can do. And in fact...
Does that make sense? Doesn't make...
She went over and above what the EU wanted by insisting on the backstop to this so-called withdrawal agreement. Now, the backstop would have tied us in indefinitely without the consent of the EU, which was horrendous, of course. But then Boris Johnson comes along after Theresa May's government collapsed and we had a leadership election within the Tory party. And he basically ended up getting Theresa May's deal without the backstop, which is basically what the EU wanted in the first place. Now, my big concern was, when I heard this, if you watch my video Brexit Fatigue, you'll hear me saying this.
I'm getting fucking fatigue and I'm like 2 minutes 56 into listening to your videos, mate. There's no way I can listen to another one of yours.
The concern was that this...
I'll be honest, I can handle it when I put your cocktails
deal
on.
would then become the first priority, not no deal. But of course, if we didn't have a general election, Boris Johnson's deal would have been a move in the right direction. And I use that term loosely, the term deal, of course, because it is true when people say this is basically a treaty, not a deal. In the government. But then Boris Johnson shot that down sometime later. But can we trust anyone in the establishment not to drag Brexit out past 2020? Boris Johnson's deal can currently be extended until the end of 2022. And it just seems to me like this is going on and on and on. And there's no end in sight to us, to the whole process. And there's certainly no sign of us taking back control, which was a major EU referendum slogan. Now, in case some of you think I might actually be supportive of the Brexit Party as an alternative, I'm afraid that Nigel Farage is all over the place as well. And the true signs of Nigel Farage's self-serving agenda really came out in January 2018, when he said on a TV program, and then tweeted this, that we should consider having a second referendum. He later changed his mind, but this was crazy. You know, the idea that we should have another referendum. And I think people started to see writing on the wall then. He then went on to kind of leave UKIP, and although UKIP has its own problems with regards to the NEC, which have sabotaged the party even further, really what I realise now looking back is that UKIP had two self-serving interests. You had the NEC on one hand, which is kind of the internal committee, elected committee within the UKIP party. And then you had Nigel Farage's self-serving
good, I can join the club. I feel
so
like I'm part of
Farage
his
has gone
crew
on
now.
to say that he actually prefers to extend Article 50 rather than have Boris's deal. And the reason he cited for this is that it overrides the Benn Act, otherwise known as the Surrender Act. So he was actually saying that we should honour this Surrender Act, which makes no sense. It just constantly seems to me as though Nigel Farage wants to basically serve his own interests so he can keep his cushy job.
That's because you're a bit of a simpleton and you can't really understand that Nigel Farage is just there to suck in disenfranchised Labour voters that want to vote for Brexit. I mean, he's proven himself time and time again not to be true to his word, and people can't figure it out. Maybe he's playing 4D chess.
In the EU Parliament as some kind of token outsider. But now he's saying that he would support an extension until 30th of June 2020, if it meant a Canada-style FTA agreement. But remember, we only have an extension until the 31st of January. So why not just leave under WTO rules after the 31st of January, Nigel? Why? Because as this goes on and on, basically, Nigel Farage gets to have his job in the EU. And the strangest thing about all of this is...
The funniest thing about all this, man, back in the day I used to get emotionally involved in all this pish and all, like, why is this politician not doing what he's saying? Why are you not doing this? Why has he changed his mind? Oh, you're a traitor, you're that. Like, it's politics. You understand that they're lying to you from day dot, and they're just saying shit to get you to put your ex in their box. That's it. They'll say anything and it doesn't really matter. They just... But no. So, what you know?
Also, the reason he gave was to, be closer with...
Anyway, that's enough for Cocknose.
What economic goals should we strive towards? If you haven't already seen my video on the 5 pillars of the natural right, I highly recommend you watch it before proceeding.
Yes, it's a
Many
must.
people ask me what my solutions
got
are
his
for the current
oscillating
social,
fan
political
head
and
back on.
indeed spiritual mess we find ourselves in on the right of politics. Having defined my philosophy as the natural right, I will outline 5 goals to strive towards. In the future, I'll cover various areas in this regard, and in this video, I'll focus on economics. Before proceeding, I'll quickly summarize.
Before proceeding, I will quickly summarize. I do not speak like this in the day-to-day world. Only when I'm doing my going up voice for the terms. Little Red Riding Hood went into the forest to pick up a pot of honey. She was going down the town to brew some meat to get off her heat. And then I will fuck her. I'm sure that was the story. I'm sure that was a fairy tale. Oh, something's went wrong here. Do 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 do. Okay. Go. All good in the hood. Right. Sorry, I did want to just play with cocknose. I thought that was funny. Just because I could. But the possibilities are endless moving forward. Crimes of brown and black men, but I think it's only a brown man I've got to show just now. Now, again, do I actually even have to say, in me offering up a theory as to why RT are quite happy to parrot this, and like the likes of Tommy Robinson and all the far right mob and UK column and all that, doesn't mean that I support going out and mugging old people. Right? What's happening here is horrible, atrocious. This cunt should be fucking hun-drawn and quartered. My point is, when certain news outlets, certain media outlets, and certain mediums of media only point at brown and black faces bouncing about, knife criming it, doing this and doing that, you begin to wonder, like, well, hold on, it's like Tommy Robinson only pointing at brown paedophiles, right? Same technique, different crime, and that's RT. Now, I would be shocked and surprised if you don't find this video getting parroted on Tommy's Telegraph. Tommy's Telegraph. Tommy's Telegraph is the skin graft he's going to have to get when a big yardie comes up and acids him in the face. Telegraph. You allowed to joke about that? I don't know. Anyway, so the point is, in fact, don't even just like see watching that. You have to be. There has to be something severely wrong with you if that doesn't get your heartstrings out and start stamping. If you don't want to go and fucking stomp over that wee prick's head, right? And that's the technique. It's the same way the crimes of paedophiles, who fucking the grooming gang, all of them happen to be called fucking Muhammad, right? You automatically get that emotional response because fucking 999 cats out of 10. Sure, that's an advert. 9 out of 10 cats kick fuck out of these scumbags like this. And paedophile scumbags. So rap a skewed narrative on top of that because it happened to be a brown person or whatever doing it, then you've got the makings of some content you can use for propaganda. Anyway, but I'll do more of that because I constantly see it, and I think that's a good pattern to point out. Now, don't worry, people. I always thought we didn't have anybody worth voting for, but we're saved. We
can start again.
Right, we can start again. Yeah, I'm going to save the planet by getting elected, but I can't do a live stream without technical difficulties. Or looking like Desperate Dan on cocaine.
So,
see if Desperate Dan laced his cow pies with cocaine. This is what he would look and act like. Not sound like, because Desperate Dan was Scottish, but
what we went over in the last video, because I've had to delete it because for some reason it was upside down. As I told you, I was having technical difficulties.
Yeah, technical difficulties. He couldn't hold his phone the right way up. You should see what I have seen when I'm licking windows. He's going to save the planet, but he can't hold his phone up the right way round while filming his campaign video.
Last night, they seem to have carried on with today. So, like I said, let me apologise for my absence over the past month. I have been a bit preoccupied with other issues that have been going on, very important issues to me. But I do have a couple of things to get off my chest. Everybody that was watching the last video will already know, but it's time to put this out again. So, like I said, they don't want me to tell you this. The courts don't want me to tell you this. But it's important that I tell you this because I don't keep things from people. The court made a decision yesterday, and the implications of that decision.
And this is why you should see what James has seen when he's licking windows. Right? The courts know what a fucking windy licking walloper he is on the YouTubes. He's going through shit in the court, apparently to go and see his daughter. He's publicising this shit. He's got an army of Antifa windy licking fucking idiots that fucking hate his guts as well, who will do everything in their power to make sure you don't see your daughter again. And you're too busy licking windows to prioritise shit to fucking protect yourself, protect your daughter. Nah, you're too busy licking windies to get closer to Tommy Robinson's asshole. And the courts told him, would it be a good idea to fucking say shit, talk about all this on your YouTube while it's going through the court?
Am I breaking the law? Am I breaking the law? Subsection, be hanging in my windy licking fucking ways. Am I breaking the law?
No, you're not breaking the law, James. The court would just prefer you not to publicise the fucking goings on of this, of ongoing cases when they're not resolved. It's kind of out of respect for the court.
Am I breaking the law? Am I breaking deep state Illuminati breaking the law? When I'm licking windies, you're paedophile protectors.
Oh, mate, this isn't going to go well for you. And I feel sorry, because there's a fucking relationship between a father and a daughter, regardless of what a windy licking fucking Tommy Robinson fan this guy is. And the daughter deserves fucking a functional dad. But there'll be Antifa idiots out there that fucking won't see that. There'll be people on the right that you've burned that won't see that, and they'll do everything they can to fuck you up with the social work department and all that, and it's just disgusting. It's horrible, the world in which we stay, and you can't even protect yourself with your windy licking ways. Look, just document it all. Wait until they fucking close the book. They fucking dotted the fucking dots. Dotted the crossed the... They've dotted on the line. The dot's on the line. Full stop. It's finished. Finito. And then talk about it. Why don't you just respect? I'm not asking you to agree. Just respect. The courts got you with the balls. The courts got you with the balls. And what are you going to do? Spit in their face? Or just bend over and grease your arsehole up for them? Right? I know.
I'm not greasing my arsehole up for anybody, you know.
Well, you and your daughter are going to fucking pay the price because you know who wins in a court? The court. and you can go into court and disrespect it, and then he's going to fucking make things harsher for you, or you can go in there and, what do they say? What's the famous old saying my dad used to say? Play the motherfucking game. Right? Okay, judge, 3 bags full, judge. And then you get the least possible fucking shit flung at you as possible because you've gave him a rim job, and then you're free to go about your windy licking ways again. Instead of going, probably bringing your windy licking fucking army of activists in to film in court and bam them all up. Fucking idiot. Anyway, I'll be honest, but I'm so glad I can watch this shit.
That I am still not allowed to see my daughter. I have to go to another hearing in the middle of January to determine what will happen then. So, let's start, because this has been very difficult. When you get involved in people's lives and then you try to destroy that person's lives, it creates anger, it creates frustration. And I'm not going to stand there and I'm not going to sit down and I'm not taking it anymore.
You're not going to stand there and you're not going to sit down. So he's going to float. So he's not going to stand there. I'm not fucking standing, you bastard. Alright, sit down. I'm not fucking sitting down. You're just edging for an argument, aren't you? Fuck I! I'm going to float. Float like a fucking... float like a butterfly. Woo, woo, woo. And sting like a bitch slap. That's real. That was Muhammad Ali's.
Got to wait another 3 months now to resolve this issue in my life. So what better way can I show the establishment?
So what better way? Oh mate, listen, fuck's sake, I didn't say I would even give a flying fuck. But my sympathies go, my genuine compassion and sympathies goes to this guy's daughter. And I'm pretty sure his daughter would be better off with this windy liquor in her life. You know, typically, always best. Regardless of how much I think this guy's a windy liquor. And I bet you none of his windy licking army will tell him this shit. Right? But this is probably the most compassionate advice that you'll ever get anywhere of anybody on the whole of the internet. And it's like, spit in your 2 fingers, grease your arsehole up, go into that court and say, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir, I'm just a political activist, I get carried away, yeah, blah, blah, blah. Get you fucking whatever, signed, sealed and delivered, sign on the dotted line, that's what I was trying to say earlier, about fucking access to your daughter, and then put your fucking cape and fucking tights back on, and fucking take your cocaine-riddled fucking Desperate Dan cow pies, and get back on the activist trail. Otherwise, you're prioritising Tommy Robinson's asshole over your fucking relationship with your daughter. And I'm thinking your relationship with your daughter is probably got maybe more longevity in it than you fucking sucking up to Tommy Robinson's asshole. Fucking Desperate Dan want to be.
And I can show every single person that has ever doubted me in this country, then why don't I run to be MP for Broxtowe as an independent...
Yeah, that's going to show everybody that ever doubted you that they were right. Look at this walloper. What, he's running and what? For what? His policies? What? Who? What? Where? Why? When? Donate to me.
Parliamentary candidate. Why don't I do it? What is stopping me from standing up to the people up there? Absolutely nothing. And I'm going to go... We'll go into the...
What the fuck has running for a candidate got to do with you seeing your daughter? You fucking spaz. Somehow, some way, you're trying to say that's what you're doing. What he's doing is he's wrapping up, that's the X Factor. That's the X Factor backstory. I can't see my daughter. Now give me money so I can run for an election. So you can see your daughter. What the fuck are you talking about?
Details of it, but basically obviously, you all know what happened at the start of the year. Now, some people agreed with what I did. Some people.
Not, we don't all, in your own wee small bubble that the internet is now created with lots of people that they think their lives are so important that the whole country. No, he was on the front of the newspapers. Who in the whole UK wouldn't know what I've been doing? I'm the most important activist since sliced bread. And if you elect me, I'm going to give you free sliced bread until they invent the thing that's better than sliced fucking bread. And that's on my fucking election manifesto.
People didn't agree with what I did, but it's by the bar. I didn't deserve a suspended sentence for it.
It's by the bar. I think he meant to say it's by the by. You know, he's already said he's no standing up and he's no sitting down. Fuck knows what he's doing. And now he's doing it that's by the bar. I think he meant by the by. Oh Lord, won't you buy him a working fucking brain? Some of his friends have one. They think he's insane.
I was forced, in essence, to plead guilty to avoid going to prison, which is, I got a lot of stick for that. And obviously, I wanted to avoid prison at all costs. But something that the solicitor said to me when I was at court at Westminster, and he said to me, well, why don't you run against her? Why don't you run for that constituency? Why don't you run to be an MP? So that is exactly what I am going to do. Now, to do this, I need help.
His lawyer's like,
I've already got one donation that's come in, and that was off Councillor Fairbanks for £50. We still need to raise another £600. £500 for the deposit, and the rest will go on leaflets, banners, and expenses to and from Broxtowe from Manchester. Now, why am I doing this? I'll tell you why I'm doing this. Because on the 31st of October, 2019, the United Kingdom should have left the European Union some 3.5 years after we voted to leave. But instead of leaving the European Union, our divided country will once again go to the polls in the hope of breaking the Brexit deadlock. Now, people will be saying, well, why are you going to run to be a MP for that constituency or this constituency? The point's very simple. The Conservative Party won't deliver Brexit. Labour won't deliver Brexit. The Liberal Democrats have promised to cancel Brexit. And the Green Party, who would vote for a bunch of...
But James Goddard is going to deliver Brexit. I told you, we thought the world was doomed. We thought everything was doomed. We thought Nigel Farage had had his day. Couldn't deliver us the Brexit we all wanted. But now we have our saviour. And it's came in Godtard.
Far leftists. I really don't know anybody that would vote for the Green Party. Anybody that cared for their country wouldn't vote for the Green Party. But for the past 3.5 years, our elected officials have worked cap in hand with a foreign power looking to subvert and sabotage the biggest democratic result in British history. Now, as I said, the reason I'm doing this, there isn't one political party, there isn't one politician out there that represents what I want. And that is a clean, no-deal Brexit. There isn't one party that...
No, so that's begging to get mixed up. I'll tell you what I want, what I really, really want. Tell me what you want, what you really, really want. I want a Brexit. I want a really, really, really no-deal Brexit. If you want to be my MP, you gotta deliver no Brexit, my friend. Hating Browns forever. Friendship's gotta end. If you want to be my MP, you gotta deliver no Brexit, you see. Making love together. That's the way it's gotta be. I'm tempted to just sing the Spice Girls now. Got that in my head. Fuck, no Spice Girls. Shit. So what do you think about that?
That are pushing for it, I don't think, other than the Brexit Party. But
he's going to tell us what he wants. What he really, really wants.
As I said, the reason I'm doing this, there isn't one political party, there isn't one politician out there that represents what I want. what I want, and that is a clean, no-deal Brexit. There isn't one party that are pushing for it, I don't think, other than the Brexit Party, but then they're a bit all over the place if Mr.
There's
Nigel
no one
Farage
party
isn't
voting
going
for us.
to
No
stand.
one party doing what I'm
So-
going to do, what I'm going to want. No part, apart from the Brexit Party. Nobody's doing it. Nobody can do what I want. Apart from the Brexit Party.
Like I said, the reason I'm doing this is because I feel it's necessary and I feel it's time, and it's my way of showing the establishment that I will not be going anywhere. Now, to the people of Broxtowe, what I will say to you is why, when you look at the candidates, and I've got the candidates here, we've got Greg Marshall from Labour, Tim Hallam from the Liberal Anti-Democrats. Obviously, you all know what happened at the start of the year. Now, some people agreed with what I did, some people didn't agree with what I did. But trapped, a vassal state of the European Union, unable to strike trade deals. Alan from the Liberal Anti-Democrats. We've got a Green Party candidate and one candidate from Change UK. Now, none of these candidates will deliver what they promised to deliver, because all they're going to do is sabotage what you voted for. They do not care about the working class people of this country. They don't care about the people that have suffered injustices at the hands of the corrupt establishment. Now, a lot of people have said, perhaps you shouldn't do this, you're not going to get any votes. Look, at the end of the day, I want to do this because I feel it's necessary. I feel it's time that each and every one of us stood up against the political class. If we could have 650 independent MPs challenging the political class, it will send them a message. Now, if we look at the Tory party, they have promised to deliver Brexit. Boris Johnson, I even fell for his lies at the start. I even sang his name as we protested against Jeremy Corbyn, on the pretense that he would deliver what he said. Now, Boris Johnson didn't do that. Boris Johnson lied to the British public. Boris Johnson says that he's got us a fantastic deal. It's not a deal, it's an EU treaty, and it will mean that the United Kingdom is trapped, a vassal state of the European Union, unable to strike trade deals with America. So why do we keep putting these people back in power? I will be coming down to Broxtowe at some point. So, Alison, the lady that messaged me, I will contact you after this. We are going to need people out campaigning. Like I said, the only way we can do this is if we can crowdfund the £500 deposit. So if you would like to help support me in my efforts to become Broxtowe MP, I mean, could you actually imagine it? They'd freak out. If you would like to, the link is in the description
The
below.
Illuminati
We will
are
start
quaking
campaigning from
in
next week.
their
Steve, not been
boots.
ignoring you, mate. Phone's broke. Drop me an email. And like I said, I'm doing this, or I hope to do this, because I want to stand up to the establishment. I want to tell every single one of those candidates that are running for Broxtowe MP that they don't care about the people, because they don't. All they care about is a vote to put them, their privileged selves, back in the Houses of Parliament so they can.
Well, you heard a few talking points of what he wants, what he really, really wants. He really, really wants a no-deal Brexit. If you want to be my MP, you gotta get no-deal Brexit. No-deal Brexit forever. Anyway, I'm working on that song, but it's called the Brexit Girls. Could work. Anyway, put that in. Start auditioning next week. Right, so there's the general election kicking off. Let's have a wee look at all the Farage and
Nigel Farage seems to have taken some psychoactive substance and gone completely bonkers.
This guy here seems to have had a lobotomy.
No, this is not.
No, this guy is for real.
Not me. This is Katie Hopkins.
This is Katie Hopkins.
Sometimes known as the female Tommy Robinson, in fact, and I found this video clip linked on Tommy's Telegram page. So
yes, I'm an independent political journalist analyst on the YouTubes. I found this on Tommy's Telegram. I found this on Breitbart. I like Trump, Farage, and Brexit. Now I like Brexit Party. Shake it all about. I am an independent journalist. That's what it's all about.
So I can only assume he shares the sentiments therein, which I suppose makes Tommy Robinson a traitor now. Anyway, this is 2 minutes 9 seconds of the traitorous, surrendering Quisling, who is Katie Hopkins.
So Boris Johnson has failed on his promise to get us out, do or die, by the 31st of October, which is not great news for me
issues. I can't
and
hear
my
a word
nipples,
of what
which
she's
will
saying,
now
which
need to be
is
covered
actually
by Nigel Farage's
quite
face.
good
I've just been
relief.
speaking to the Bridge Cafe to
Only get-
arrange
I'll
that.
only get one ear.
But more importantly, we now face
I
a
was in
general
Hong Kong and
election on the
fucking
12th
protester
of
went
December,
fucking cut
and
my ear
Farage
off, so
seems
I
to
can
have
only
taken
half
some
ear
kind
ears a
of
night.
psychoactive substance and has gone completely bonkers. He says he's going to stand 600 candidates up and down the length and breadth of
I'm
these
going to
great
assume that
countries
was
of our...
really worthwhile listening to.
Nigel Farage, the biggest con man ever to walk God's earth. I have just found out he's promoted supporters of IRA child killers. He's supporting, some of his people are supporting paedophilia, and some of his people have spent their life in the Revolutionary Communist Party. He has fast-tracked them to the top, and some of them now been elected. Did you know he was behaving like this? Did you know these people were in the Brexit Party? I didn't. I want to tell you all about it. Join me in the Temple Report.
Listen to that overproduced fucking audio, man. It's almost like the start of Anonymous clips, isn't it?
Hello again, Jim
Same
Dawson
producer.
here, guest presenter with the Temple Report. Before I get started today, and I've got very, very important subjects to go through, but I want to show you this. Look at it. Can you see the nice cross down here? You see the nice pommel? Call this a pommel. Here. Beautiful leather scabbard, and it comes with a belt with crosses all embedded into it, metal crosses. But let me show you this thing. Dear me. Look at this. It's full of oil because it's just been forged actually. But what a piece of kit. Now we've got some of these in again. These are real swords, they're not reenactment, they're not LARPer swords. These are actually fighting swords, and they are official Templar swords. And they come in from Toledo in Spain. They're hand forged.
British nationalist swords made in Spain. It could only get better if it was made in China.
There's nothing like them. Lots of Chinese copies, of course. These are the real deal. These are the real deal. And real swords are like, well over $1,500, $2,000. This thing here is how much? 600 and something?
Aye, Maria, I'll be getting green screen books soon. Just like Jim Dawson.
679.
I'll be honest, man, if I had spare dough, I'd love to buy a fucking big sword fucking like that, man. And I'm not, there's not even a punch. I'd love a big sword like that. Big Knights Templar fucking sword, man. That'd be the business. I wonder if you can buy it without having to sign up the Knights Templar. Now listen to what he says.
With the leather scabbard and the big belt, which has got all the gold crosses like this on it. They're fantastic pieces of kit. It takes 6 weeks to make these. And that's one of the problems. So people who are thinking of ordering them, order them now because we need to put the orders in. And remember, you can pay these up. How many payments? 6. You can pay this in 6 payments. 6 payments. Just put one payment down. Your name's on the sword. And they're all individually... I can hardly open now. They're all individually... I don't know if you can see that. They're all individually numbered, and your name is entered on regarding the number into the armoury in Roslyn, and that's a...
See, you think it's just that they grab the Knights Templar fucking name out of nowhere, but have they got an armoury in Roslyn? Is that for reals?
Subscribe to you, and we would ask you if you sell the sword or pass it on to your son or something, let us know and we can alter the record. So, as I say, 6 payments, so it's like $100. Your name's on the sword. So, get busy, get ordering, and it'd be great to see you with one of these we see at the next meeting. Now let me put it down here because it's quite a dangerous thing.
I'll tell you a funny story. If you're buying a sword, don't buy a cheap one. It's only funny depending what side of the story you're on. You're in. Right, but I'll cut it short. There was this guy in Cumbernauld, a notorious dude in Cumbernauld. He was forever fighting and harassing folk and all that, right? And one time him and his mate went down to this pub to square go some folk. So they went down with the fucking... I don't know if he's ever remember when the Japanese swords started doing the round. Every cunt had them in their living room, the wee rack with the 3, had the wee small one, the medium one and the large one. And him and his mate went down armed with these fucking things. And long story short, he pulled out the fucking sword. The sword itself came away from the handle and went into his mate's eyeball and killed him. So he went down there with a sword and he ended up killing somebody with a sword that night. And the person he ended up killing was his mate. Boom, boom, boom. Told you it was a funny one. Anyway.
We put it on the floor because they are very heavy. Oh dear. Right.
I'm tempted to join his organisation now just for a fucking sword. But you could probably get the same kind of thing fucking cheaper. Without having to join fucking a religious militant order. Oh shit.
And some of his people have spent... before I get started, they are official Templar swords. They're like... And the big belt, which has got all the... You're thinking of ordering them. I can hardly open it. The sword. So, get busy, get ordering, and it'd be great to see one of these we see at the next meeting. Now let me put it down here, because it's quite a dangerous thing. I'm going to put it on the floor, because they are very...
Man, there must be fucking some Antifa mob that have fucking signed up for that Knights Templar stuff and are going to the meetings. If there's anybody that are privy to any of that stuff, let us know, man.
Heavy. Oh dear. Right, okay. Do that wee bit of advertising. And remember, like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, and you'll be informed when new videos come out. Okay, here's a very serious video. I can
do better than that.
People are often saying to me, Jim, you're like the prophet of doom. Well, I'm really sorry, but everybody else is so chicken.
It's fucking religious. What do you expect? Guilt-tripping, fucking threatened, coerced since day dot, since he could comprehend fucking words.
They won't tell you the truth, so I'm going to tell you. This is mainly aimed at the British people, but I'm sure quite a few Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, South Africans will also know about British politics enough to understand what I'm saying. There's a new party in Britain, excuse me, tickle your nose. There's a new party in Britain called the Brexit Party. It's led by Nigel Farage. And everybody thinks Nigel Farage is wonderful. He's not wonderful. He's a civic nationalist and he's in favour of immigration, just not Muslims. But he's formed this Brexit Party, and this is unbelievable. And I know people are going to be very disappointed because we have an election in a couple of weeks and people are saying they're all going to vote Brexit Party. Now, I'm not here to tell you to vote for them or not to vote for them. I'm here to tell you what they are, and then you make your own mind up. Let me read this out. I don't normally read from scripts, but I need to read this. I've called this the twisted truth about Nigel Farage's Brexit Party. And you'll know why in a minute. Nigel Farage's Brexit Party pretends to stand for the traditional values of Old England. Parliamentary sovereignty, patriotism and decency. However, no matter what you think of Farage, you would expect his candidates to condemn things like the IRA or Hamas or some of these other terror groups and child murder in places like Warrington. You would also expect them to take a strong line against child pornography. But it's not so. I know that's hard to believe, but I'm not pretending here. I'm telling you the truth, and I'll tell you who said it and where they said it, and so on. Now, just look at this. That picture is the two wee boys that were blown to bits, butchered on Father's Day at McDonald's because the IRA planted the bomb there. Now, it wasn't actually, the IRA ordered the bomb to be planted there. It was actually Reds. It was actually Antifa people who planted the bomb on behalf of the IRA. And two wee boys, those two beautiful wee boys you see there, I can hardly even talk about this without getting emotional, because I've got kids, I've got wee boys. And butchered those kids on Father's Day outside McDonald's. Now, as for military targets, behave. In England, Warrington's a very quiet town.
Now, agree, disagree. Well, agree, disagree. We're killing little boys. Agree or disagree with one side of the argument or not of that stuff. What's noticeable is the politics he's pointing at. And bear that in mind when later on I point at the evolution of the Truther Industrial Complex and Jim Dowson and all these splinter groups from the British Union of Fascists, which I will go on and show later on. So as you can see, all the independent journalists are now pointing their direction, and it's either Farage good, Farage bad, Boris good, Boris bad. Right? They're keeping you in that right-wing paradigm, and that's the only place they want you.
Hello.
Hello, we are the Billy Boys.
Nigel Farage must hold his nerve and not back down. There are calls for Nigel Farage to stand down Brexit Party candidates in constituencies where the Tories are guaranteed to win. They're saying if he fields Brexit Party candidates, it could split the votes, letting in a Jeremy Corbyn-led Remain government. Well, let's just say that's the worst case scenario. Then great, and I'll tell you why. A Jeremy Corbyn Remain government wouldn't be lasting long. It wouldn't be long before we were back to the 1970s, 3-day week, power cuts, bin strikes, whatever. A Jeremy Corbyn-led Remain government would usher in a Weimar Republic-style chaos and bedlam, and out of that, the phoenix would indeed rise, where a populist government would replace the Jeremy Corbyn-led Remain one. The reactionary Tories wouldn't be trusted no more, and Jeremy Corbyn, Bolshevik, Trotsky nonsense would have obviously been thrown in the Thames by then. And what could develop from there could be a populist-led government by Nigel Farage himself. So don't back down, Nigel. Say a note to that Aaron Banks. He's on the side of self and the money power and money interest. I wouldn't trust him. But anyway, stick to your guns. I've got to make this short and sweet because I'm going to the Remembrance Parade here in Liverpool. Okay, thank you.
Hi, Chad. That's well noticed. He actually has real books.
Our Nige is encountering opposition to his suicide mission. Who would have thought it? The Brexit Party is facing disarray after it emerged Nigel Farage has lost a reported 20 of his own candidates and a key donor. The former UKIP chief is grappling with a backlash after announcing he would take on the Tories in every seat in the country unless Boris Johnson dumps his Brexit deal.
Does this mean that a Tory majority is now a sure thing?
Well, we don't take anything for granted, but what I'm glad Nigel Farage has recognised is that the only way to...
Now, that was out the day, Talk Radio, Nigel Farage, and this is after, I think it was the 8th, I can't remember, maybe about 4 or 5 days ago, I was talking about my Brexit Party conspiracy theory, in the sense that the Brexit Party isn't a real party, it's set up as a kind of Tory light. And you might feel free to disagree because you'll go, but Nigel Farage said this and Boris Johnson said that. They completely disagree. Right, okay. Basically, all they do is want people to vote right. If there's a hung parliament or a coalition, Nigel Farage could do a deal with the Brexit, with the Conservatives, if needs be. If not, completely get a hung parliament in some sort of a form of coalition. Possibilities are endless. Who the fuck's going to vote for Corbyn? Right? Corbyn can't even vote on yes, yay or nay to Brexit, which makes him irrelevant. Nobody's going to go out and vote for him. Nobody can tell me, is Corbyn pro or anti-Brexit? Right? This is the title of tonight's show. This general election isn't a general election. It's a second referendum. And people are going to vote with who they think can offer them the yay or nay to Brexit that they want. And I think that's a reality. I could be wrong, but I think it's a reality. And all the fear that's been wrapped around and people have or have not bought into regarding being in or out of the European Union. And that's what this election's going to be all about. And that's why the Brexit Party is set up to get the Labour supporters who want out of the EU to vote for them, who can never vote for the Conservatives. And thinking about it with those demographics in mind, you can see why the Conservatives getting a good vote, the Brexit Party getting a good vote, the Liberal Democrat splitting the Labour vote. You know, the Liberal Democrats probably going to get, like, think of the Liberal Democrat, what they're offering. They're offering a second referendum, no to Brexit. So Labour supporters who are saying no to Brexit, who can't vote for Corbyn because they might be pro-Israel. Now, see all these things, all these different topics that are very polarising for people that really do dictate how people vote one way or the other. This has been worked out with fucking mathematicians, electioneering people, marketing experts, demographic experts, so on and so forth. And they've worked out strategies of how to convince X amount of people to vote X, Y, and Z to get them the results they need to get the Parliament, to get the landscape of the Parliament the way they want it after the election. Anyway, I digress. Talking shit. But hopefully it makes some sense to you. I'll share that link. That was Nigel Farage. It was actually... That isn't sharing the link. This will be sharing the link. And the more bells and whistles, more confused one man can get. Anyway, that was Nigel Farage. Nigel Farage. Grenfell. Let's have a wee look at what they were doing with the Grenfell bullcrap.
I'm always a huge believer in the power of people's own words to tell you what you want to know about them.
And also a very big power of the taking things out of context and how you can use a 2-minute clip, kind of spin what Jacob Rees-Mogg said, and sit there like butter wouldn't melt in your fucking mouth with your fucking Jufro hair, while all the time being as bad as what bad if worse, the person you're trying to browbeat down.
So here are some of Dominic Cummings' own words.
People think, by the way, and I think most people are right, the Tory party is run by people who basically don't care about people like me. Right? That's what most people in the country have thought about the Tory party for decades. I know a lot of Tory MPs, and I'm sad to say the public is basically correct. Tory MPs largely do not care about these poor people. They don't care about the NHS, and the public kind of has cottoned onto that.
Interesting, though. The Prime Minister's senior source, key advisor, consigliere, saying he knows a lot of Tory MPs and they don't care about poorer people. And now we come back to Jacob Rees-Mogg's comments about people who died on the night of the Grenfell Tower tragedy and his attempted apology for offending them on an egregious and still, to me, unbelievable level. So the phrase...
Still to him, so he's offended on the behalf of the people with Grenfell when they wouldn't be offended if dickheads like him and his shit fucking ass corporation company broadcast radio piece of pish didn't parrot it out of context to the ears of the victims of Grenfell, allowing their fucking dead relatives, brothers, sisters, aunties, uncles to be used as a political football by dickwads like you, sitting in your fucking ivory tower of your studio.
The crucial phrase, I think if either of us were in a fire, whatever the fire brigade said, he was talking, of course, to my friend and colleague Nick Ferrari, who was nowhere near Grenfell Tower on the night of the tragedy, so this theoretical fire. And I think if either of us were in a fire, whatever the fire brigade said, we would leave the burning building. It just seems the common sense thing to do. And now the apology. What I meant to say is that I would have also listened to the fire brigade's advice to stay and wait at the time. However, with what we know now and with hindsight, I wouldn't, and I don't think anyone else would.
It kind of makes sense if you like listen. It depends how you listen to that.
And then you get the almost inevitable if. I would hate to upset the people of Grenfell if I was unclear in my comments. If you weren't unclear in your comments, you wouldn't be profoundly apologising for them, would you? So the last sentence.
If he wasn't clear, if his comments couldn't be construed differently, then you would probably play it in its full context right now before trying to use it to score political points. During a time, now bear this in mind, this is the reality. We're in an election cycle. There's electioneering going on here. Broadcasters like this legally are not allowed to do party political broadcasts. And the regulations that exist in the UK in and around election times when it comes to broadcasters are numerous. And this guy's dressing up this story as some sort of a fucking journalistic fucking piece of journalism, and it's not. It's a hit piece. Anyway, I digress. And not that I'm a fan of Jacob Rees-Mogg. I just hate people using people's deaths to score political points. It ain't big or clever. Right. Top of the tree, Dowson. So what I want to show here, Jim Dowson. His own Twitter. And as you can see, theories in and around him creating groups using his marketing expertise to carry out his political goals. And his political goals, theories, theology, are you'll listen to him, go and listen to him, and you'll find that out. So a lot of my theories about the groups that he's been openly involved with, being tailor-made to suit different demographics, but to ultimately deliver the same result, politically motivate them one way or the other down at the polling booth. I don't think it's that bizarre.
Can you imagine coming to the pub one day and there's somebody sitting in the bar ripping a baby out of their belly, tearing the baby apart and eating its guts and ripping its head off? Can you imagine such a thing?
Sounds great.
Well, watch the Temple Report and I'm going to show you. But
can you imagine that? No, thank you very much. I don't want to watch it. Watch this and we'll show you. I thought you said it was horrible and we shouldn't watch it. But watch this so we can show you it, so you can get your fucking knickers in the twist about something you shouldn't watch if you don't want to watch in the first place.
Just be careful, it's pretty gruesome.
And then there's the...
Hello again, Jim Dowson here with the Temple Report. And today...
well, at least he stopped calling himself a guest reporter because it's pretty pathetic.
I want to bring you something that's deeply disturbing. Does need a viewer discretion warning on it. I'm going to show you this. But as usual with these videos, and I'm not very good at it because I'm not very technically au fait, like the video, click subscribe and press the bell. And please comment below. And if you wonder why I keep looking up there, because I've got the things pinned in the wall. Like the video, click subscribe, press the bell, and you'll be informed when one's coming up. And comment below so I can see what you're thinking, because it's important. Well, I want to bring you something today that's deeply, deeply disturbing. As I say, viewer discretion is advised. Yeah, but I want you
watch
to
stuff that
have
they don't
a
like.
look at this.
It's a bit fucked up in it. Doesn't look pleasant at all. Now, I wonder what the context is about that. You know what I mean? Like, if they went to watch a theoretical play about some crazy ass shit or something, looks that way. I don't know, but I'd like a wee teeny bit of context. But that's just me. I'm probably going to get us a copyright strike. That shitty music. I'll be honest, I've seen some crazy shit in boozers, but I've never seen anything like that. See, there was a wee cut there as well. There's just a bartender back there just doing that. Is that a man or a woman who's doing that? Anyway, it's enough.
You know, and for many years...
You can imagine, like, that's a bit horrific for fucking most people to watch. Imagine Jim Dawson, man.
I've always said that certain things are homosexuality, or let's be a wee bit clear on that. Sodomy, because heterosexuals practice that as well, but sodomy and abortion were all linked to demon possession and satanic ritual. And people say, Jim, how can you say that with a straight face? It's 2000.
I know, how can you say that the demons aren't real?
19, are you crazy or something? No, I'm not crazy in the slightest. And I don't go to one of these wacko churches.
You can't just go around the world and find Fruit Loops doing fucking crazy things and pointing at it as some evidence of demons being real. Fruit Loops have always existed, and I would give you as Exhibit A, Jim Dawson.
We were jumping about like fruit bats and mad people. I'm a very normal, down-to-earth, grounded, old-fashioned type of Christian. Very little music in my church, and it's very sombre and very sedate. We have an ancient tradition. But look, these things are real. And thankfully, not so many people think I'm mad as they used to think I was mad. More and more people are beginning to think, Jim, I think you might have been right all those years ago. And I was right, because the Bible tells us, and when people are doing stuff like that, now you'll notice this guy, wasn't it Bell? What's the guy's name that was doing this drag queen? Blair Black. Now sadly, he's American, and he's of Ulster Scotch-Irish descent. What a terrible thing that to have in our bloodline. But that's who he is. A drag queen performing this in a gay bar. And that's what goes on. You know, this kind of notion that everybody thinks gay people are dancing through the sunflowers merrily, it's just nonsense. You know, you're talking about this sodomy thing. It's a depraved practice, and you know, you're dealing with bodily fluids and excrement and waste products, and it's vile. But you know, and a human being wouldn't normally.
Nobody tell Jim Dawson that women piss out their fanny. I can't be fucking that vagina, man. You're those waste. I can't pump that pussy, man. It's got that waste products and stuff. What can you fuck, Jim? Priest Smooth. A religious wank. Fuck a priest's dog collar.
Do that, you know. If you're walking down the street and there's a dog dirt lying on the pavement, whoa, you step away from it, you stand in it, you're like, oh no, and it's horrible. But to connect that to sexuality and actually be putting your body parts in amongst somebody else's waste products is it's horrific. But
Jinky's ever looked at a pussy? Nobody tell him where women piss out her. I wonder if there's even people at home like that. Huh? Women piss out their fat? Oh! Anyway, I digress. I remember getting presented with this like lack of fucking logic kind of like, whether you want to fuck an asshole or not, that's up to you, right? But then to attach it with demons and God knows what else, fuck knows. Jim, you don't want to fuck an asshole? Don't fuck an asshole, and don't let anybody fuck your asshole. See this mandatory gay sex you're talking about? You're getting had, Jim. Also, I'm not going to tell you where a woman pees out her.
That's why I believe.
Oh, I was going to go through a wee story about time of a misspent youth when I was in jail, right? And I was presented with my co-pilot, and let's just say we were talking about man stuff, right? Talking about shagging and whatnot, and then we've got onto the subject of butt fucking. for the record, we weren't butt fucking each other. It wasn't that kind of jail or that kind of sex talk. Anyway, but long story short, he was sitting going, oh man, couldn't shag a woman's ass. Oh, couldn't do that, right? And at the same token, he's talking about banking shit while coming into the jail. He was taking smack that had been banked for people to get into the jail. So he's quite happy to smoke heroin from a junkie's asshole, but he won't fucking stick his dick in a woman's ass. That was my kind. I was like, mate, there's little logic there, you know, man. And the scale of stuff I would the stuff I'm willing not to do. Smoking smack out a junkie's asshole is fucking way higher up the fucking not to do list than banging a woman in the ass. But this is just me and my preferences, and this is what makes the world beautiful. We're all different. The logic of this stuff. But anyway, Jim, I feel sorry for his wife. Just never get some of the good old cunnilingus.
A lot of these things are coming from
Too scared of getting a dribble of wee on him, man. I guarantee he's never ate pussy.
Far deeper source, and what you see manifest in that vile, disgusting film about somebody ripping a baby out aborting it and pulling its head off and drinking its blood and eating its guts. Who else would do that unless you're utterly possessed with some kind of demonic force? Who? And you know, it's not just that person. The pub was filled with 100 and odd people, and they're all clapping and cheering, and nobody's going, oh my.
Because they went to see a drag act who's probably renowned for being his most disgusting or doing some fucked up fucking shit. So they go to a gay bar to see a drag act who's known for doing fucked up shit, and then he bounces on stage, and you know what he does? Some fucked up weird ass shit, and you're wondering why they're all not shocked and surprised.
My goodness, I can assure you, if I went down to the Veterans Club and done something like that, I'd be put through a window and then taken to hospital to be evaluated, my mental health. But these people are reveling in this type of wickedness and depravity.
Yeah, you can't. I don't know. You can't entertain the realities of what's really going on. Or it just has a different, just completely different fucking view of reality. What's going on as to what I do. 11. Let's turn it up.
Richard Spence, the alt-right, Milo, all of these people who reckon. But what's more important, I want to talk about what is going on generally. How could people be so foolish to follow them? Because I tell you, there's very sophisticated marketing going on here. You know,
ding! There is very sophisticated marketing going on here, Jim. And I'm glad you bring that up, because you're a marketing specialist. You created groups like Britain First. You funded the BNP to the tune of millions of pounds. You were quite happy that the rise of the BNP resulted in a waft of support for the UKIP. You're a political strategist, so you're quite happy just to move the political pendulum over to the right by hook or by crook, and by using your marketing your marketing skills, your ninja marketing skills. You're an expert in demographics. You preach religious righteousness. You believe that you're religiously righteous, which makes you capable of Machiavellian behaviour, which I think witness all the time.
If you look at, for example, the emblems and the symbolisms of any movement, it really tells you what the movement's about. So if you look at Northern Ireland, say in the 1970s, when with the trouble with the IRA, it's a revolutionary, dressed like Che Guevara with an AK-47 in his hand. Pretty cool image. If you look at the Baader-Meinhof gang and all that, again, revolutionary with the star, the communist star and the AK-47. If you look at the Black Panthers and all that, it was the big black fist. Oh, I get it. Powerful, powerful images. What is the modern right wing got? And people used to laugh at this. I never laughed at this because I don't think it's funny. Pepe, look at him. That's Pepe the Frog. Pepe the Frog. And now we're into a new one now, wait a minute. We've got a new one now. It's called Groiper. Is that right? Groiper?
Now, this is just my very uber sceptical mind, and maybe I'm just making up paranoid delusion conspiracies. But Jim Dawson making this video, appearing to try and distance himself from the like of James Goddard, Pepe Le Pew, and all your watered down alt-right independent journalists on YouTube. Now, this is what I believe's happened. He's encouraged, propagated, and helped establish a lot of those, and encouraged a lot of those talking head independent journalists to suck in lots of different people from different demographics. You then get these talking heads to parrot all the right-wing talking points. It then mobilises people towards the right wing of politics, and then Jim Dawson appears and sucks up all the people that have been radicalised into the right wing of politics. And this guy's, by his own account, is runs a militant order. Anyway, I just thought it was fascinating that he's talking about sophisticated marketing practices, which, in my humble opinion, is definitely happening. Now, let's have a wee look at some of this. Now, this will be interesting. So, I think I got this. Yeah, here we go. I'm trying to remember where I was. Here is the British Union of Fascists, right? Who are... Come on and do the conga. Right, okay, Captain. Okay, Captain. Illuminati. Deep State. Klingon ship. Attack. Averted. Anyway. But the British Union of Fascists, the clues in the name, very interesting group. Now, early 20th century, I believe they started, no, 1932. Anyway, I digress. So, if you go and look, there's a British Fascist Party, splinter groups of splinter groups of splinter groups. Now, the reason I want to show that is that isn't even debated, these splinter groups. It can't be debated. I think it's quite established historical record. That exact same kind of model is happening today. And it's to... It's like when drug dealers and stuff buy tanning salons. It's a cover. It's a front. It's a facade. It's a group behind a group behind a group behind a group. But ultimately, if you go and scratch beneath the surface, you see who's behind it all. Now, the British Union of Fascists, the BUF. If you come here to the League of Empire Loyalists, this was set up as the British Union of Fascists were closing. And I forgot my train of thought. I thought I'd have somebody in here. No. Who am I looking for in here? Who's the guy? Hold on. John Tyndall. John Tyndall. John Tyndall. That's what I'm looking for. Right, let's see if we can find. No. Well, that's. Please try and bear with me. Should have been a wee bit more organised. This might help me out here. It does help me out no end because I can see what I'm doing. See what I'm doing on that page, which helps. Right, I'm looking for John Tyndall. Am I on the right page? Sorry, I'm a wee bit over the gaff. This is what I wanted. John Tyndall. He was the guy that started up the British Nationalist Party, but if you see here, born in Devon. Sorry it took me so long to sort that out. I just wanted to show the link here between the fascists, right? The Union of Fascists, who then were set up by the same group. Oh, sorry, a group that then came out of the Union of Fascists was the League of Empire Loyalists. And then John Tyndall joined the League of Empire Loyalists, the LEL. And John Tyndall was the man who set up the BNP. So it's the same group, splinter groups, groups of groups, but it's the same mob. And they set up new groups for obvious reasons, because they get shut down because they're out there planning and plotting, murdering people and shit. Tommy Robinson is a member of the BNP. So if you follow down this guilt of association route, you can see how Tommy Robinson, even though he's out there living the vida loca with the LGBT community and all that, ultimately you can trace him back to the chain of command of fascism in the UK, which comes from British Union of Fascists, which was Oswald Mosley, and you can even go and chase that mob back further if you want. Do your due diligence. So you can see how the British Union of Fascists, through splinter groups and the same people setting up separate splinter groups, different groups, but still the same people, have in time morphed into the BNP. And right up to this point, you've got Jones, Nick Griffin, Jim Dowson, Britain First, Paul Golden, Tommy Robinson, all BNP members. And these people all worship John Tyndall, who back in the day joined the League of Empire Loyalists. Prior to embracing the extreme right, he was in National Service, and the first group that John Tyndall, the founder of the BNP, joined was the LEL, let's call them. And as you can see, I'm a bit mixed up, but the LEL, the League of Empire Loyalists, was a British pressure group, also called Ginger Group in Britain and the Commonwealth of Nations, established in 1954. And ostensible purposes was to stop the dissolution of the British Empire. The League was a small group of current and former members of the Conservative Party. Does this ring any bells? You know, the elements within the Conservative Party not believing the Conservative Party is right-wing enough, which typically stems from the Conservative Party's links into the House of Lords and the old guard of the British Empire. You know, for ages I've been saying that this is all coming out of the interest of the British Empire. Now, so if there's any merit to me saying that it's the entities behind the LEL, the British Union of Fascists, the BMP that have now manifested in Jim Dowson, Britain First, Tommy Robinson, all these red pill Phil, even, fuck's sake. If there's truth in that, it goes back to the business interest of the British Empire. There's the clue in the name here, the League of Empire Loyalists. Anyway, the League was a small group of current former members of the Conservative Party led by Arthur K. Chesterton, a former leading figure of the British Union of Fascists. Right, so the group, the founder of the BMP first was affiliated with, was set up by a leading figure in the British Union of Fascists, who himself served under Oswald Mosley. Now, let's say that the same elements that were behind all these groups that I'm pointing to here are still, the power players behind that are still the ones that are in play just now. They've used the exact same model, haven't they? Just splinter groups, new talking heads. Oh, look, it's the same way that David Icke and Richie Allen split up. You know, still doing the same shit, still parroting the same pish, still talking about the same talking points, still butt fucking the same guests, still passing around the same fucking prostitutes, the alternative prostitutes in the circuit, round all their alternative media. But we're no longer associated with each other. So hopefully that actually makes sense and might actually be worthwhile watching. You know, this is the web of association that I see, that inherently the Truther Industrial Complex is fucking backing up. And it's been going on for a long time. So if you're not familiar with the who's, where's, and hows of the British Union of Fascists, do it. Splinter group after splinter group, we'll hear this long time in the making. Groups well worthwhile familiarising yourself with. Jim Dowson. Well, I showed you his clip earlier on with him pulling out the big fucking sword, $600 and it's yours. Full down payment, $699,999,999. The real right don't use keyboards much. They use big swords. Oh no, they use Kalashnikovs. And this is on the Turkish-Bulgarian border. For people ignorant, that's basically where Turkey, where Muslimdom meets Christendom. Romania, that's where Count Dracula used to guard Christendom from the stinky Muslims back in the day. Let's not forget Prince Charles is a descendant of Count Dracula. The Count was in the Order of the Dragon, I believe. I think it was the Order of the Dragon he was a member of. I know this sounds like crazy talk, but it's all true. Of the Dragon. So the real Count. God, what was the real Count Dracula's name? I think I've forgot now. Vlad the Impaler. No, I've not forgot. Vlad the Impaler. The reason he gets such a terrifying reputation is because he impaled people, but he impaled people and left them at the gates of Christendom. It was trying to fend off the Muslims from coming into lovely Christendom. You know, that's why he was loved and hated. They needed him to be vicious to hold back the marauding Muslim hordes. Let me see if I can find Prince I used to have this up on my channel. Prince Charles. I'm sure you'll be able to find a wee snippet. That's the one I used. Let's see if this one works.
Prince not so lad lived in a castle in Transylvania 500 years ago. He was a bloodthirsty killer who sparked the legend of vampires. Why is the prince publicizing a connection? Because he wants a steak. No, not that kind. Speaking on a travel...
Shut up, fuck off you. That's not what I want. This one here. Ah, fuck off, man. Shouldn't make me a liar. So we snippet and he admits this.
18 sober. It's estimated.
Anyway, if he's going to have a good wee look, he will find. Maybe this is a wee 8-second one. This should be it. That was great, that one. Anyway, you'll find that Prince Charles, genetically speaking, is related to Vlad the Impaler. I don't know if you understand the picture I'm trying to paint here, but it's a lot of Christian orders. I showed you Jim Dawson there talking about the real patriots on the Bulgaria-Turkish border, guarding against the hordes of Muslims, just like Count Dracula did back in the day in Romania and Transylvania, where I don't even know where that is. Down on the coast. Anyway, and Jim Dawson singing God Bless the Queen and all that because the head of their church. But anyway, also what you'll find is in the Knights Templar stuff they say Deus Vult. God wills it. Deus Vult meaning incorrect spelling. Deus Vult in Latin expressing God wills it. It used to be a battle cry by Christian crusaders in the 11th century and it's strongly associated with the Prince's crusade, which was responsible for the siege of Jerusalem in 1099. The expression Deus Vult is sometimes written as Deus Vult, both of which are corruptions of the classic Latin. In his book, The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire, historic Edward Gibbon explains the origin of the corruption. So that's where the Knights Templar Jim Dawson's is getting their rhetoric from. Makes sense. They're a militant Christian order. I don't know if you can see where I'm saying where these people are coming from. Now, John Tyndall. Okay. Now, what you'll see here is all these independent journalists, Richard Inman and all that, now pointing to Northern Ireland and the DUP and the politics there, and Boris Johnson's a bad man because they're not doing what the DUP says and all that. Now, if you don't think this is coming from the politics of people that were responsible for the creation of the BNP, then here's just some food for thought. John Tyndall, the Mac Daddy of the creation of the BNP, Empire of, he was the member of the League of Empire Loyalists. Now, if you go and look at his early life, His father was George Francis Tyndall, though the Tyndall family line was related to both the early English translators of the Bible. I mean, this is how. I mean, why wouldn't these people be fucking emotionally invested in the literal translation of the Bible as the Word of God when their lineage goes back to the translation of the fucking Bible as the Word of God? Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't fucking Jim Dawson be bald deep in the BNP bounce about saying this book is the Word of God? Straight from John Tyndall's legacy, isn't it? I don't know. That's what I'm arguing here. And the physician, John Tyndall, his parental family were British Unionists living in County Watford, Ireland. He had a long line of service in the Royal Irish Constabulary. His godfather had been a district inspector in the constabulary and had fought against the Irish Republican Army in the Irish Wars of Independence. His father had moved to England working as a Metropolitan Police officer and then as a warden of St George's House, a YMCA hostel in Southwark. Tyndall later stated that despite his father having been raised in a British Unionist family, the latter had adopted internationalist views. He claimed that his mother exhibited a kind of basic British patriotism, and it was she who shaped his early political views. His upbringing was emotionally stable and maternally secure. Tyndall studied at Beckenham and Penridge Grammar School in West Kent, where he attended O-levels, associating football. Then he done his national service in West Germany. So you can see he even traces his own, the founder of the BNP traces his genetic roots back to being what Jim Dawson claims to be a Scott Ulster. Ulster Scot, sorry, that's the way he would claim it. Now, for me, fill in the blanks with another 500 plus years of history. On top of that, with Robert the Bruce's declaration of Arbroath, Robert the Bruce's claim of where the Scots lineage comes from, because Robert the Bruce's claim of that lineage is the same claim as the lineage claimed by the Ulsters, by Jim Dawson and the Ulster Scots. Go to the Declaration of Arbroath. Go to a Rangers fucking game and hear them sing "We Are the People" without realising what people they're claiming to be. And you can see where the lineage, where these people believe their lineage come from, whether it's real or not. You can see why they believe where their lineage comes from, and why their heads been filled with the rhetoric that they're chosen by God and they are the people and shit. They literally believe they're like racial supremacists. They believe that racially they are chosen by God. Go to Rangers, go, we are the people, we are the people. And they're talking about they're talking about being Ulster Scots, of that lineage, being chosen by God. And I would point to the Declaration of Arbroath, written by Robert the Bruce, in the 13th century. And then fucking King Billy and the Ulster Scots fight in Northern Ireland and all that shit. It's wrapped up in hundreds of history. Anyway, and it's all worthwhile boxes to tick to get a better understanding of where these people are hailing from, I believe. So there's John Tyndall, straight out of Ulster, and fast forward to today where you get independent journalists like Richard Inman, an Englishman, shouting about Ulster. How many people? Trying to figure out, is that actually in Ulster? I think that must be Ulster. Oh god. Fucking songs make me want to wet my knickers. Shit. Right, that's enough of that music. But I'm trying to show you the ties. Here's this guy again going on about Ulster. Shouting about the politics of the DUP. Wow, there's a whole 3 people there, and let's call it 4. Person holding the camera. That was a good one. They've got the right to do what they're doing, but fucks.
Many people walking past will be thinking, what are these people doing standing here outside the European...
What's this crazy man doing with a big microphone and megaphone when he can clearly speak to the audience
Commission
without one?
Offices on a cold November afternoon. Well, the reality is that the European Commission is the executive arm of the European Union. It's the European Commission that wants to annex Northern Ireland, and we must be under no illusion.
London and Cardiff talking about Northern Ireland. Must have been about 8 people there.
Many people walking past will be thinking, what are these people doing standing here outside the European...
Shit, is this the same one?
Good morning. Travelling across to London this morning to meet some high-profile patriots, also some genuinely patriotic politicians. We'll be meeting in Westminster, and really we're meeting to discuss how to move the movement forward. As we all know, there has been several setbacks, to say the least, and we're looking at ways that we can get things back on track. And I had meetings a few weeks ago with several other people from different groups, and it's an ongoing process. And obviously, as things develop, we'll announce what.
In one of my wee walking talks, it's so important. If
I think it must be East Kilbride or Cumbernauld with this guy.
you're coming on this stream, that you give this a like, that you give this a share. For some reason, I can't actually see any of your comments at the moment, but it's so important that if you're coming on, do me a favour, give this a like, give this a share. So we have got some massive news coming up here about
news.
the BBC article, and we're just going to write an article on it shortly. So, excuse me, I've got a really bad cold. The BBC, right, have written an article that's talked about how there's misinformation about the Joe Swinson story. 14 of you on, please do me a favour, give this a like, give this a share. This is really important. Keep the likes and the shares coming, because I want to let you know of exactly, we're going to expose how they've not only talked garbage in that article, but they've also written misinformation about me and misinformation about Carol Pearson. Hi June. Again, to everybody that's coming on this stream, please give this a like, please give this a share. It is really important that we spread the word of how the BBC acts. Now, I'm going to give you a clear example of misinformation that this article has done. This article is meant to be against misinformation. They have said the Unity News Network was established by 2 UK Independence Party activists.
It was established. So when it was established by UKIP activists. Now, this guy wasn't a member of UKIP or the UKIP youth, but he was clearly promoting their politics, and I can remember him on numerous occasions talking about how he supported UKIP. His friend who started up Unity News with him when they established and started up Unity News, he was the head of the UKIP youth division. The BBC reports this, and this guy can't see the reality.
I, David Clues, have never in my life been either a member of or an activist for UKIP. Now, that's not me having any bones with UKIP, but what I'm saying is that in this article, they've got their basic facts wrong about who I am and who Carol is. Carol Pearson resigned from UKIP in March of this year.
March this year, so it's 6 months ago or something, right? Call it over 6 months ago. Not that long ago. And Unity News has been going for how long? How long did you and the head of the UKIP youth division start this channel? April 2018, so over a year. Year and a half.
He was chair of the youth UKIP. Now, that is...
Chair. He was the chair of the youth UKIP, who then started up Independent Journalist Network. And this Independent Journalist Network has a problem with the BBC pointing out that one of the people that established this independent news organisation was the chair of the UKIP youth division at the time he established this. He doesn't think this makes him appear to be a wee bit biased.
Absolute garbage that they've put out in their article. Now, we all know the story with UKIP. We all know there's a wee bit of baggage now. That was a deliberate attempt to smear us as an independent news organisation by saying that we are linked to a political party when we are not. Now, the next thing they've said is Facebook pages that purport to post news stories. Purport means to do things that are false. We do not post things that are false. What we posted about Jo Swinson and her husband was factual. He works for Transparency International UK. Transparency International, based in Europe, takes money every year from the European Union. What their article also failed to do was expose the fact that they take money from Open Society by George Soros. Now, just when you think it can't get any more interesting, we've been doing a wee bit of digging around in some of the tweets of these journalists, and we're actually going to publish them shortly. One of the tweets, something along the lines of, just you wait and see Brexit bias. She talks about how she was absolutely gutted with the result when the UK chose to leave the European Union. Now, I'm not sure, I don't think she worked for the BBC at the time.
Okay.
Nationalism is the curse of these islands.
Hmm?
Whether it be Scottish nationalism, Irish nationalism, Welsh...
Oh, right, I get you. Yeah, this is very, very true. Nationalism is just a load of shite. It depends what type of nationalism and who wants to back your type of nationalism up.
Nationalism. And even now, English nationalism. And I say this as a proud Englishman. I detest the sort of nationalism that says, we're going to put...
White nationalism. It's kind of under the surface, but they just can't say that because it's a wee bit too racist.
England first. We're going to put Scotland first. We're going to put Wales first. We're going to put Ireland first and the dream of a united Ireland first, at the cost of destroying everything else. And we've seen the destructive nature of Irish nationalism, the violent destructive nature of Irish nationalism played out.
British nationalism good, Irish nationalism bad, European nationalism bad. I mean, you just pick and choose what nationalism is good
In the last century. But we've also seen the rise of Scottish nationalism. And while it hasn't been a violent force, it's been an aggressive political force driven primarily by hatred of the English. And now, sadly, we're seeing the rise of English nationalism. And it's not as overt and as aggressive as the other forms of nationalism.
Yep, and that hypocrisy isn't really that obvious. And here's the Vox that Joe Owens was reporting on the other day has now won an election over in España. And again, I was talking about the hypocrisies of British nationalists loving the nationalism of other countries. So let's have a wee look at... Oh, Tommy.
I've spent the morning in Luton. Spent the last couple of days actually with some Swedish journalists, showing them around and hear about Jesus. Thank you. Much better than Mohammed, isn't it? And currently walking past Parliament, just going for a meeting here, and then I'm off up north. And I said the whole time on the 1st of November I'll be back, and what I meant was I haven't literally answered my phone to anyone. I've been having a proper break with my family. Whilst I was in custody, I had some terrible news about my wife's health. So I promised when I come out, I'd spend time just giving her a peace of mind. And now I've got documentaries that I want to be working on. So...
Documentaries I want to be working on. Fuck me.
I'm currently thanking a lot of people as well. So I'm travelling around thanking people that supported me, supported my campaigns, supported my work and supported my fight for freedom. So just a quick update from me. I'm back working.
Back working.
I'm back out around the country. I've got around today. I'm in London today now. And I'm off up north. I've got to leave here by 4, but I've just got a quick meeting from 2 till 4. So, peace. It's good to be seen. I need a shave, I know.
Okay, right. This is an open letter to Tommy Robertson, no bullshit, and it's by
Tommy Robertson? Oh, good. Who's Tommy Robertson?
a guy, Adam Goodyear, who is not being horrible to him at all. I really want you guys to go and read it. It is amazing. He makes several points, and he also has video evidence and things like that.
Visual evidence in the way of YouTube videos.
Some really good people in there.
And visual evidence of what? Tommy Robinson being Oh, right, these are the Jew haters that Tommy Robinson doesn't hate Jews enough. Right.
And
that's the fracture.
To read it, it's amazing. I done a video with that. Someone made a video as well about me and him both talking about that. Denmark like talking about IVM being a wife beater. Just it really exposing it all. Oh no, that was where the money is. But you should definitely go and check that out. The other thing, so I'll leave a link in for that one. The second thing
second thing.
I wanted you guys to see was this.
More evidence on YouTube. YouTube evidence. We all need the YouTube evidences. It's going to prove to me that YouTube proves to me that what I need to get proven to gets proven on YouTube's. This is riveting. What am I looking for?
Come back to your point about. And this is a lady who was imprisoned for literally. That was quite funny. Traitor Tommy sold his soul for shekels, and I wrote back, so true. Wait for my new video, mate. But anyway, I want you to go and watch that as well, so I'll also leave the link in it for that. She went...
So, Tommy, don't hate on Jews enough. Or he's two bottom pods paid for by the Jews. What the fuck? Alright, I was like, what the fuck is this? Is that Lucy Brown dancing like a whore with a fag in her mouth? Oh, it's the Epstein thing. I think I just misfiled that.
We all know that when the police are challenged on their inaction...
My lord, if you've ever wanted to know what a horse in lipstick looks like, then voila. Now, I watched a documentary on Netflix the other day. It was called The Return of Dolomite. It's a real documentary, and I learned something, and I don't know why I didn't know this, but back in the day, I understood that if there was a black wall and a white wall, and it was a sunny day, the black wall would heat up and the white wall wouldn't, because one would be sucking in the light and one would be reflecting it, right? And you this shit and the heat, and you could feel it and all that stuff, but it never occurred to me that it happens with people's faces the same way. Apparently white people's skin reflects the light, black people's sucks it in. So as a filmographer, I learnt this through the Netflix documentary Dolomite, because he was talking about filming black people. He was a black dude back in the day. Anyway, never occurred to me, to be honest. But this poor girl needs to fucking learn that lesson. I don't know what she's doing. Too much light, too little light, wrong type of light. She looked fucking whiter than Michael Jackson. And she's, I don't know, and it's like, I don't know, horse with lipstick. And it looks like she get let loose in her mum's makeup box, doesn't it? Anyway, sorry.
When it comes to investigating crime, they love to cry lack of resources and cuts.
Cuts. Resources.
Resources.
Cuts. Cuts to the police.
Non-resource.
You know, officers are really feeling it.
Right, so the police are all corrupt apart from when they get caught doing bad things and then get prosecuted. Okay, got that? Oh, look.
Now, this event is not an isolated event.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
We've got people in Edinburgh. They're protesting outside the European Commission office in Edinburgh. We've got them in Cardiff. So this is
Yeah, a grand total of 20 people all up and down the country.
UK-wide demonstration. They're all small
Look, there's about 9 of them there,
very, very short notice.
including the camera
But
person.
this is what we must do. We must get boots on the ground and boots.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 boots on the ground.
Isn't there other groups, though, like the National Front, the Front National, and the BNP, who's been fighting this for years?
When you talk about fighting it for years, those groups differ in many ways, because those are...
Have they not been fighting Islamification?
They fight anything that's not white. They tackle and they have hatred for anything that's not white.
It's not white. Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Were you part of the BNP at one time?
I was part of the BNP in 2004.
Never forget that Tommy Robinson was part of the BNP. Jim Dawson raised lots of money for the BNP. Jim Dawson started up Britain First. If you can't see the wee network, then go and look at the BNP. Go and look at the links from the British Union of Fascists through to the BNP, all the splinter groups. John Tyndall. What was it? League of Loyal fucking Loyalists, Empire Loyalists or something. You'll see the wee network that goes back for a long time.
I'm on it. Better than going out, innit? Now I need to get home to get my kids for Remembrance Sunday. So spare a minute in your day for all those fallen men.
Now, I remember getting into the truth movement and stuff, and you would be sitting slagging America for being so fucking militaristic. And the same thing is now happening through UKIP and conspiratardom here in the UK. And again, nothing loves a wee bit of irony other than like a bunch of active patriot. Doesn't matter who's a patriot for any fucking country, just any country fucking hates the stinky Muslims.
I'm alive in Poland.
And they've all fucked off over to Poland to celebrate their Independence Day. The irony.
Look at the big man. The big man. Oh, Tommy Robinson. Represented. We're here. Look at the fucking big man. We've got to get this in. We've got to get this in. Yes. Tommy is being represented in Poland by the big man himself, Scott from Scotland. Absolutely fantastic.
Scott from Scotland took too many fucking
people like myself who are willing to stand up and defend the British white people to defend their culture.
Do you support? Do you understand the Great Replacement? You're live in Tommy Robinson's view. Do you support? Do you understand the Great Replacement? You're live in Tommy Robinson's view.
I don't think. You think English people are under threat?
Definitely under threat.
By what?
By three pillars: integration, immigration.
Is it the Great Replacement theory?
I want to resist the Great Replacement.
Yeah.
We will support any means, by any means necessary. English Christian soil belongs to the English
you
Christians.
promote the conspiracy theory of the Great Replacement, which right-wing terrorists use in their manifestos.
Yes. Do you know what percentage of London is English native or British native?
40%.
40%. It's been replaced already in London.
And why?
Yeah.
So it's not like we're anything
Anyone
different from
Tommy
anywhere
Robinson
around
look
the world.
around you, and you can see almost no English native people. You can see a shouting Indian hot minute.
Where are you from?
Right now we get something.
Where are you from?
So my question.
Where are you from, Ralph?
Answer, Ralph.
Where are you from?
And the guy that's complaining about all the white people getting replaced is brown and is from India. He is the problem of which he is complaining about, if it is indeed real. Oh, but this stuff doesn't enter into these small-minded midgets' heads. The murky, murky troll swamp. It's getting late. So Danny Jones is busting 5G scammers now. Liar, scammer, and liar, and shooter. All right. Mark Steele. Anyone who wishes to be around this anti-5G campaigner needs really check into his activity with the company he keeps and runs. Danny Jones, the same could be said with you and your little fucking Stasi fucking network of creeps. Now, if you don't know what's going on, which probably most of you don't, but apparently this was Grob Knob's show where he doxed, apparently, allegedly, Lady Sparkle. And apparently God, man. Get to the good bit. What the fuck is Heritage TV? Anyway. So, I think that's the bit where apparently, I don't know, somebody said Grobnob doxed her. But who knows? Who knows if that's even her? Time will tell, I suppose. It's funny though, since this has been doing the rounds. Well, I don't know, I don't pay that much attention, but it looks like Mary Sparkle's fucked off from YouTube land. Or is it only a small? Is it only small? Is it only It's only appearances. Anyway, it's a big enough waste of time.
How you doing, folks?
How you doing?
I made this video. It's one or two of you might have caught it before it went private, but that was only so I had to put it public basically to be able to use the link in a YouTube downloader. It's over at my big
Makes sense.
shoot. Also found how to put the links back in to my videos. Some bullshit to do with Create Studio. So I found out how to do that.
OG1 Kenobi.
So the link to this video, or my BitChute page, I'll link the whole BitChute page in there. You can go and find this video, it's just been put up on there. There's a few more on there, there's deleted content as well for anyone that wants to see the full videos of what some of these people have said about us and stuff like that they've deleted, you know, stuff that they've apologised for. You know, there's no lying on this platform, there's nothing to lie for.
Well, that's a bit strange, because you seem to be in cahoots with that feckin' Friday who was Lady Sparkle's little gimp boy, and quite happy to be part of the network that's making secret fucking folders on people and sharing them with motherfuckers. You creepy little fuck. But hey ho. Each to their own. Obi-Wan Kenobi. And God almighty. Danny Jones, the crack squad. They're still on, exposing Andy Devine for sleeping with barmaids in Cyprus. I know. Who needs the real police when you've got Fanny Jones and Flo Destroyer on the case?
Good evening. A little bit tired, making content all day, looking at devices. My eyes are burning a bit, but...
Yeah, no, and the world wouldn't be the same without you doing this, Obi. What you're saving the fucking planet by talking pish about people on YouTube, one person at a time. And there's a few characters from the murky troll swamp. Stay out it. It's messy and it stinks in there, and it's no fun. So thanks for watching this week's Not the Infowars Nightly News. Make sure you thumbs it up, you share it with your friends, your family and your foes. Help the channel and the show grow. Remember, subscribe, bell up, all that jazz. And remember what I'm doing here, it's digital basking. It's all available and accessible free of charge. I'm going to do such a good job. You'll find value in what I do and use your spare change, not your life savings, in the Patreon and PayPal buttons down below. And a mega thanks to those who do. I'm going to say hi to the folks in the chat, then get out of here. That's nearly 11 o'clock. That's more than enough time. So hopefully you enjoyed this week's Not the Infowars Nightly News. The original, the Mac Daddy, the OG alternative look at the so-called alternative media. Skeptical with the spectacles about the so-called skeptics and watching the motherfucking Watchmen, because somebody's got to do it. So thanks for watching, tuning in. Thumbs it up, share it, friends, family, foes, digital busking, Patreon, PayPal buttons down below. Say hi to people in the chat and I'm good to go. Charlotte in the evening, how you doing, Cha? Oh my god, what the fuck? Tempest Harbour in the evening, mate. Good day to you, Maria. Hugh, how you doing? Oh my god, what the fuck in the evening. James A. Boy, how you doing, my man? Hope you're keeping well. Stone Man in the house, Maria. Thanks for joining. Apple Charlotte in the evening, Cha. Hope you're all good. Sparkle O'Hore in the evening. Sparkle Bright 77, how you doing, Bright? Hope you are all good, my man. Sparkle O'Hore. Cleopatra McGovern is Sparkle. Never heard of her. Send us any information you've got, Sparkle O'Hore, I'd be interested. Email and shit down below, man, my Skype details and everything, so get a hold of me, no problem. Maria, oh my god, what the fuck? Flying Irish, the artist formerly known as Tony in the evening, guys and girls. Thanks for joining, one and all. Jodie Reid in the evening. Jodie, how you keeping? Hope you're keeping well. Who cares? Apple Charlotte, the Blazing Stars, Hugh, Flying Irish, Tony, Stoneman, Bright, who cares? Cha, Maria, Blazing, Jeffrey Long. Oh my god. So hopefully, Alan McVicker was in as well, so hopefully I've managed to say hi to yous all at some point. Hopefully yous enjoyed tonight's show. Tune in next week for another Not the Infowars Nightly News. Bell and sub up to keep up to date with everything I put up between now and then. Tune in next Monday. I will do another show next Monday. I just have been a wee bit busy with other priorities right now. So make sure you tune in next Tuesday. Oh God, hold on. Where's my? Oh. Anyway, I know what I'm going to do. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. I'll hopefully catch you next Tuesday. Take care of your one and all.
Tonight at 11.
Doom! It's a plan! And I'm angry! I'm not a slave! I've broken the conditioning! It doesn't work on me! I'm primitive, I'm real, I know the enemy, and if we can have this spirit of normal humanity spread, it's over for the globalist! Break the conditioning now! Excuse me.
This is not the Infowars Nightly News, where the answer to 1984 is not $19.95 plus shipping and handling, but the answer is to try and understand the double-barrel bullcrap, the double-speak, and the Orwellian wonderland we now find ourselves in. So sit back and relax as I take you through a real alternative look at the news and so-called alternative media alike. Enjoy.
Keeps clear.